Hi everyone, welcome to our exciting journey of learning Oracle Golden Gate. So thank you very much every one of you who have joined today to be part of this exciting journey with me to learn Oracle Golden Gate session. My name is Ashish Agarwal, and I'll be delivering this lecture to you. So before commencing the session, just a quick round of update regarding my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/Ashish Agarwal underscore GG. So if you haven't visited the channel, I would request you to do visit the channel and do like, share, and subscribe the channel. The channel is dedicated to Oracle Golden Gate related videos. Okay. So today is day one training session of learning Oracle Golden Gate Classic Architecture training. Okay. So we are going to start this session now. So today is so this session is Oracle Golden Gate. So let us start this exciting journey now. So thank you very much everyone to be part of this journey with me. So Oracle Golden Gate is real-time data replication tool which is used for replicating the data. So before I start, just a quick round of introduction about me for those who don't know me. So I'm expert in Oracle Golden Gate and Oracle database related technologies. I have 17 plus years of training experience. And if in fact 18, I have 18 years of Golden Gate experience and 17 years of training experience. Now, I'm blogger and speaker on Oracle Golden Gate. I have trained 9,300 plus trainees and taken 292 corporate batches so far. I have various high rated courses available as well, which includes Oracle Golden Gate Classic Architecture, Oracle Golden Gate Veridata, Oracle Golden Gate Microservices. And next month, I'll be the first one in this world to launch Oracle Golden Gate 23 AI course. Of course, apart from Oracle. Then, if you have any question related to the course, you can email me at ashishagarwalag@gmail.com. You can always visit my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/Ashish underscore GG for free content on Oracle Golden Gate. Okay. So, how excited are you to start this journey? Let us start now. Okay. So, the training agenda of this training. So, training agenda, I have just highlighted a few points, but it covers much more than that, whatever is mentioned. So the training agenda includes introduction to Oracle Golden Gate architecture. Now this is classic architecture training. So classic architecture is available until Golden Gate 21C. So this is 21C training which we are doing. So Oracle Golden Gate 21C new features. Then we'll be discussing about Oracle Golden Gate upgradation from one version to another, how to install Golden Gate, different concepts and components of Oracle Golden Gate, DML replication, that is when you do insert, update, and delete, how the replication happens, how to perform initial load using Oracle Golden Gate. Then we'll discuss about data filtration and transformation using Oracle Golden Gate. So Golden Gate has the capability to filter out the transactions as well. So filter out the transaction means you can decide what you want to choose. So basically, that is the major advantage with Oracle Golden Gate. So with Oracle Golden Gate, you can filter out the transaction and you can transform the data as well as per your requirement. So if say for example on source you have got salary and commission column, on target you only have salary column. So what it can do for you is it can Golden Gate can transform the data with as per your requirement. So that is the major advantage with Oracle Golden Gate. Okay. Now Golden Gate also supports bidirectional replication. With this, we'll also discuss about bidirectional replication. Then bidirectional automatic CDR, which is getting evolved with every version of Oracle GoldenGate. So we'll be discussing about bidirectional auto CDR. Then GoldenGate supports not only DML replication, it also supports DDL. That means when you alter, modify, drop table. So we'll be discussing about DDL replication. How to monitor the lag, performance tuning, checkpointing of GoldenGate, troubleshooting. Now, one of the major challenge which I see among the GoldenGate administrators is troubleshooting, that they face issues while performing the troubleshooting in their environment. So, we are going to discuss about troubleshooting as well in this training. So, troubleshooting is very much important in your environment. See, apart from setting up Golden Gate, it is very imperative that you should be able to troubleshoot the issues as well, right? Because troubleshooting is very important. So, how to strategize? Now, how do you troubleshoot is troubleshooting comes with strategy. Now, the thing is, there may be like each environment is different. So, today you are facing one issue, tomorrow you may be facing another issue. During this training, I may tell you about 100 issues, 200 issues, 300 issues. What happens if you get some different issue when you're working next time? So it is very important, and I always say this to everyone, how you strategize your troubleshooting. This is really very important. So during this training, we'll discuss. I will inculcate in your mind how to strategize your troubleshooting. What are step by step, what are the steps you need to follow to ensure that you troubleshoot the issues? So during this training, we'll also discuss about how to troubleshoot Golden Gate issues. Then how to configure Oracle Golden Gate security. So Golden Gate is a product which deals with the data, right? And data is of utmost importance for everyone. Like your data is there with your, suppose you have bank account in State Bank of India or Bank of America. So, would you prefer if your data gets leaked, your personal information like your name, phone number, or email ID, or credit card information, bank account details? You don't want to do that, right? So, security is very much important in when you play with data, and Golden Gate plays with data. So how do you configure Golden Gate security? We'll be discussing about that. Then parameters, we'll be discussing about Golden Gate parameters and parameter files, which is again very important. I call it, just like at the Oracle database level, you have control files. I call parameter files as same. Then we'll discuss about log dump utility on Oracle Golden Gate environment. So log dump utility allows you to read the trail file. So Golden Gate writes the data in the trail file. So how you can write the data in, how you can read the trail files, because Golden Gate trail files are by default binary format files. So we'll be discussing about that as well. Okay. Then we'll discuss about Golden Gate performance tuning. The latest features like performance metric server, parallel replicat, heartbeat table, Golden Gate automatic heartbeat table. What is Golden Gate self-describing trail files? We'll be discussing. Then we'll be discussing about upgradation and migration of Golden Gate. How do we upgrade from one architecture to another architecture? Like this is classic architecture. If we have to upgrade to microservices, how do we do that? Then zero downtime upgradation and migration using Oracle Golden Gate. So one of the major feature of Golden Gate is it supports zero downtime upgradation and migration of database. So we'll be discussing about that. Then what is Golden Gate 23i? What are its features? So we'll be discussing all those things during these sessions. Okay, so we'll be discussing much more than that. This is just a high level overview, which I have presented over here, but we discuss much more than that. What is menu, what you see over here. So day one agenda. So today is day one session of our 7 week, I'm calling it as 7 week learning Oracle Golden Gate challenge, which means that during this 7 week, we'll be doing complete Golden Gate replication, wherein we'll be discussing in and out of Golden Gate. And with each session, I'll be providing you challenges, tasks to perform, which is going to take your learning to the next level. So the day one agenda includes Today's session, we are going to discuss introduction to Oracle GoldenGate, overview of Oracle GoldenGate, different types of architectures of Oracle GoldenGate. Will introduce Oracle GoldenGate Veridata, different types of extracts and replicats, how to, what is, so GoldenGate 21C introduction we'll be doing, then how to read certification matrix, how to download GoldenGate binaries, then what are the prerequisite, how to prepare your environment for your Oracle GoldenGate, like how do you decide how much RAM is required, how much memory is required, all those things we'll discuss. And then at the end, we'll be discussing about setting up the virtual boxes and the training guidelines. Okay. So are you all ready now? Let us start. Okay. So first of all, let us start with Oracle database architecture. I'll give you a brief overview of Oracle database architecture. The reason being, understanding the database architecture is crucial for comprehending the inner workings of Oracle GoldenGate. See, GoldenGate is a product which works with the database, right? It requires the database. So it captures the data from the source database and then it writes it to the target database. Okay. So we are going to discuss first of all about Oracle database architecture. So one of the major feature of GoldenGate is it works with heterogeneous databases as well. So GoldenGate not only works with Oracle database, it works with non-Oracle database. So GoldenGate works with your Oracle, it works with your SQL Server, it works with your MySQL, it works with your timestamp, it works with your multiple databases as well. So let us discuss about Oracle database architecture. So I'll just give you a brief overview what is required by Oracle GoldenGate for this. Okay. So Oracle database itself is a big topic. If I have to cover Oracle database as full, it will take, I believe, 5 to 6 hours to complete, right? But we are going to here discuss what is required for Oracle GoldenGate. Okay, so Oracle database is divided into two parts. Instance, Oracle database architecture is divided into two parts: instance and Oracle database, where the actual files are there. Okay. Now, instance again is divided into two parts: memory components and background processes. So, SGA and background processes. Okay. So, SGA involves various components. SGA called as System Global Area. So, it various components are there. Under the various memory components are there, like library cache, data dictionary cache, database buffer cache, redo log buffer, Java pool, and large pool. So these forms the SGA. Okay. Then you have different background processes, which includes PMON, SMON, database writer, log writer, checkpoint, and other background processes are there. Then you have Oracle database files, which include data files, control files, and redo log files. And then the backup of redo log files are called as archive log files, which are taken on disk. Okay. So now what happens is how this Oracle database architecture works is, so basically data files are the files which contains the actual data. So say for example, you go to your SQL developer or Toad or SQL prompt and you type select star from employee table or select star from department table. Right. So when you do that, you get some information on your screen. From where do you get that information? Where that data is stored into? So that data is actually stored into these data files. So you get that information from the data files. Okay. Control files are the mandatory files in the database which stores the metadata information. They are the critical files in the database. Okay. They store the metadata information. If you lose your control file, your database will not come up. Okay. And then you have redo log files. So what are redo log files? So redo log files are the files which contains the changed data. So whatever data changes are happening in your environment, the copy of those changes gets recorded into these redo logs. So these redo logs contains the change data in your Oracle database. So whatever data changes are happening in your environment, the copy of those changes gets recorded into the redo log files. Now, these redo log files are limited. Hence, the copy of these redo log files is taken on disk, and these redo log files, once backed up on disk, are called as archive log files. So these archive log files are the backup of redo log files, which contains the change data. Whatever data changes are happening into the database, these files contains those. Now let me tell you one thing. These redo log files and backup of redo log files, which are archive log files, contains both committed as well as uncommitted data. As a database administrator, we have a misconception that these files, redo log files or archive log files, contains only committed transaction. That's not true. These files contains committed as well as uncommitted transactions. Okay. Now the question comes, how do these files get the data? Let me show that to you. Okay. So what happens is, say for example, you update any row, you execute the command at the database level, like update department table, set location equal to XYZ, where department number equal to 10. Now, what will happen once you execute an update? Okay, so that is called as a dirty buffer. So when whatever buffer gets updated or deleted or inserted, it means basically it gets changed. It is termed as a dirty buffer at the database level. So that dirty buffer gets returned into the database buffer cache. Now, once the record is updated, now so the actual first of all, that update happens here. It doesn't get returned into these data files. The update gets returned over here. Now, with help of the database writer process, that update will be returned into the data files upon commit. Okay. But the copy of that change gets recorded into the redo log. The copy of that change gets recorded into the redo log buffer. Okay. So whatever changes you are doing at the database level, whether it is insert, update, delete, or any DDL change, okay, it gets written as a dirty buffer in the database buffer cache, and the copy of that change gets returned into the redo log buffer. Okay. Now, from redo log buffer, it gets returned to redo log files with help of log writer process. So log writer helps you in writing the data from redo log buffer to log writer. So sorry, redo log buffer to redo log files. Now log writer process writes from redo log buffer to redo log file under these conditions whenever commit happens. So whenever commit happens at the database level, the data from redo log buffer will get returned to redo log file. Or when redo log buffer is one third full. So suppose the size of redo log buffer defined at the database level is 100 MB. So when it is 33 MB full, it will be written over here in redo log files. Or when there is 1 MB of redo. So when there is 1 MB of redo in this redo log buffer, it will be written. Or every 3 seconds. So every 3 seconds, data from redo log buffer gets flushed out to redo log files. Or before database writer process writes the data from database buffer cache to data files. So when you update the record, the copy of that change gets returned to redo log buffer. Okay. And then from redo log buffer, it get returned to redo log file under these conditions. So either at the commit or when it is one third full, even though it is not committed, or when 1 MB of redo is there, even though one third is not full. Okay. Or every 3 seconds, or before database writer process writes the data, before database writer process writes the data from database buffer cache to data files. Okay. So now the question comes, why do you need to write the data to redo log files? What is the purpose? If the committed data is getting written anyways to the data files, why do you need the data to be returned to redo log? Anyone has any idea? So the data
For
in the
instant
redo
retrieval.
log files is written for redo purpose. Okay. So consider a scenario wherein you went to the bank. Okay. So first of all, remember guys, one thing, redo log files contains both committed as well as uncommitted data. So once the record is committed, it will be returned to redo log files. Or even though it is not committed, but it is one third full, because this redo log buffer contains committed as well as uncommitted transactions. Okay. So because it contains both committed as well as uncommitted transaction. So when it is one third full, it will write it to redo log files, whatever data is there. So whether it's committed or uncommitted, it will contain that data. And once redo log files are full, so say for example, you have defined in the database like 3 redo log files, 100 MB each. So all 3 redo log files are filled. So the first one, which was filled at first, the data of that redo log file will be flushed to the archive log. Then second, then third. This is how the flow will happen. So whenever redo log file is full, the data in that redo log file will be flushed to disk and archive logs will be generated. So redo log files contains committed as well as uncommitted data. So redo log file contains the change data. Now, what is the purpose of redo log files? So first purpose of redo log files is for any change data capture tool like GoldenGate or any other change data capture tool. Redo log files are the files which act as the primary source. GoldenGate reads the transactions. The major source of GoldenGate or any change data capture tool is redo log files or archive log files. GoldenGate receives the or retrieves the changes from these files only, redo log files or archive log files. So each database has its own transaction logs where it stores the change data. So whatever changes are happening to the database, those changes, whether we talk about Oracle, whether we talk about SQL Server, whether we talk about DB2, whether we talk about any other database, each database has its own transaction logs. In case of Oracle, we call it as redo logs or backup of redo logs, which are called as archive logs. In case of non-Oracle database like SQL Server, DB2, or MySQL, these are called as transaction logs. Okay, so the ultimate source of GoldenGate is these redo logs or archive logs when we talk about Oracle. When we talk about any other heterogeneous database, those are called as the transaction logs. Now the question comes, let us get back to my previous question, which I asked. What is the purpose of these redo logs if the data anyways is getting returned to the database data files? Okay, so the whole purpose of this redo log files is to redo the data. Okay, I'll give you one example. Okay, that should help you in understanding this concept. Suppose you have a bank account with State Bank of India or Bank of America. Okay, now you went to the bank. Suppose you have the balance of $10,000 in your account right now. Okay. Now you have $5,000 cash. You went to the bank, you went to the teller over there, and you asked for depositing those $5,000 which you have. Okay. So the cashier in the bank takes the money from you. Okay. And he then deposit the money. So at the application level, he takes the money from you. Okay. So the updated balance, what you would think would be 10,000 plus 5,000 equal to 15,000. So the cashier takes the money from you in the application. So he does so the cashier works on the front end application and which connects to the database. So in the front end application, he put in the information that your account should be credited with $5,000. But you gave your money to him but before application sends that information to the database crash. Okay. So basically what happened is in the application, he provided the instruction that the updated balance in your account should be 5,000. Basically, updated balance should be 15,000. So at the database level, the command went, but before that, that updated value could be written into the data files. Your database crashed. Okay, your database crashed. So you came home and you saw that still the balance is showing as 10,000 and you were flabbergasted to know that because $5,000, if someone is not able to see in his or her account, that's a big issue. Right. But what had happened internally was the database update was sent, but before database writer could write the data to the data file. So basically, you see whatever you see on your screen, whatever is available in the data file. But before database writer process could write the data to the data file, your database got crashed. Right. So what happens is, but because the request was already sent by the application, so what happened was that the data was returned from database buffer cache to redo log buffer internally to redo log file. So in the redo log file, that information was already present. So when the next time your database comes up, you will be doing the recovery, and recovery will be done first of all from the available redos or archives which are available. So your information now will be available into your archive log files and the recovery will be done from those files. Now, once the recovery is done, in that moment, your data files will have your updated information and after that your bank balance will be shown as $15,000, making you happy and restoring the trust in the bank. So this is the purpose of your redo log file for redoing the data for the recovery purpose. In case there is unexpected crash of the database or sudden crash of the database, you can redo the transactions which are yet to be applied in the database. Okay, so that's the whole purpose. Now, these redo log files or backup of redo log files, which are called as archive log files, are used by Oracle GoldenGate or any change data capture tool. Okay, any change data capture tool like the competitors of GoldenGate. So all these use redo log files for your redo log files or backup of redo log files for capturing the changed data from the database. Okay. So this is how your Oracle GoldenGate uses Oracle database architecture. So for you to understand what is the major source for GoldenGate is these redo log files or backup of redo log files, which are called as archive log files. These are the ultimate source. So remember one thing, if the data is not written into these files, GoldenGate cannot capture it. So first of all, to ensure that data is returned into these data is captured by the Golden Gate process. First and foremost thing you have to ensure is data gets returned into these redo log files or backup of redo log files, which are called as archive log files. Okay. So this is how Golden Gate uses this. So this is for Oracle database. For any Oracle database like SQL Server, MySQL, DB2, they also have these change data logs, and these change data logs are called as transaction log, where that whatever changes you are making to the database, those changes gets logged. So these redo log files or backup of redo log files, which are called as transaction logs. So these files are present in every database. Okay. Yeah. So it means that before the database instance crashed, the application had successfully sent the data to uh, the application had successfully sent the data to the database. Otherwise, it would have given the error to the cashier as well, saying that database is not reachable. Right. So, but before it could be applied at the database level, the application got the database got crashed. Okay. So non-Oracle database, these are called as transaction logs. In case of Oracle, the transaction logs are called as redo logs or backup of redo logs, which are called as archive logs. Guys, I again repeat, and this is really very important. And I'm telling this to you again and again because I have seen this, the experienced database administrator saying so. Your redo logs or backup of redo logs, which are called as archive logs, contains both committed as well as uncommitted transactions. It's not like they contain only committed transaction, they contains both committed as well as uncommitted transactions. Okay. So let me quickly introduce Oracle Golden Gate to you. So just a quick introduction of Oracle Golden Gate. So Oracle Golden Gate is a CDC tool. So you must have heard this term CDC, right? So what does CDC stands for? So CDC stands for change data capture. So change data capture means whatever changes are happening in the source database, whatever changes are happening in the source database, those changes will be captured by Oracle Golden Gate. So Golden Gate is a CDC tool, change data capture tool. So it captures those changes and apply those changes on the target database. So it captures the changes from the source database and apply those changes to the target database. So it supports both DML and DDL changes. So Golden Gate was basically founded in 1995 and it was a standalone company at that time. Golden Gate was founded in 1995 and it was named after famous San Francisco Golden Gate Bridge. You must be seeing Golden Gate Bridge in my video as well on your screen. So it is named after that. And remember one thing, the best part why Golden Gate works with heterogeneous databases is initially when it was founded, it wasn't Oracle product and it was developed for non-Oracle database. Subsequently, when Oracle overtook it in 2009. Okay. So since then, it is known as Oracle Golden Gate. So the best part with Golden Gate is this is just for your information right now. The way Golden Gate works for Oracle database, in the same way it works for non-Oracle database. There is no difference. Only difference is how different databases how Golden Gate connects to different databases. Like for Oracle, it uses TNS entry. For SQL Server, it uses ODBC connection. For Postgres, it uses ODBC.ini. So these are the only difference, how it establishes the connectivity. But apart from that, everything else remains same. That is the best part with Oracle Golden Gate. So in 2009, Oracle overtook it, and since then it is known as Oracle GoldenGate. So GoldenGate is a change data capture tool. Whatever changes are happening on source database, those will be captured by Oracle GoldenGate, and then those will be applied to the target database as well. Okay. Okay. So GoldenGate is primarily a data replication tool. Now, what are the various tools which exist for database replication? But Oracle GoldenGate stands out with its real-time capabilities, heterogeneous support, and performance. Okay, so Oracle GoldenGate has unlimited capabilities to replicate the data in real time. It provides supports for heterogeneous database, like not only for Oracle or not only for one particular database. It supports, it provides supports for multiple databases. And performance, of course, is definitely a plus when I compare it with different products. So different competitors of Oracle GoldenGate, which are available in the market, are DMS from AWS. So AWS DMS, which is offered by Amazon. That is one of the competitor of GoldenGate. Okay. Now let me tell you guys one thing. This data replication domain, okay, it is basically 95% of area is dominated by Oracle GoldenGate. So data replication domain as a whole, there are different GoldenGate competitors. But as a whole, if I talk about the hopping, 95% area is dominated by GoldenGate. That means 95% of places wherever data replication tools are available, paid data replication tools are available, 95% of them use Oracle GoldenGate. Remaining 5% is shared by all other competitors. So you can understand what is the capability of GoldenGate, what are the uh, offerings of GoldenGate, and how much GoldenGate is being utilized in current market. So what are the closest competitors of GoldenGate? I have named out closest competitors. First is, as I mentioned, Amazon DMS. This service is offered by Amazon. Then one of the tool which many of you must have heard is SharePlex, right? So SharePlex is a product which is owned by Quest. Okay, so it is a robust data replication and integration solution by Quest software. Now, this again is different challenges or considerations, or I should say, uh, like support wise, there are different challenges with SharePlex. So the market share of GoldenGate, as I mentioned, is 95%. I would say market share of SharePlex would be 2% approximately. Okay. And then there is Click Replicate as well. This is managed by Click. Now, the best part with this is it is cost effective. And if you have heard about Attunity, so Attunity is now called as Click Replicate. It has been taken by Click. So now it is called as Click Replicate. So Attunity no longer exists. It is now called as Click Replicate. Okay. Then there is one more which is called as Stream, a platform for ingesting, processing, and delivering real-time data across diverse environments. Right. Now there was until 11G in Oracle, you also have streams, STREMs, AMS, Oracle streams. How many of you have heard about that? Oracle streams. Okay. Oh, many of you. Okay. So Oracle streams is uh was again a data replication technology. Now Oracle streams has been deprecated. Now it is no longer present. I think from 12C onwards, or if I'm not wrong, 11G R2 maybe. I don't recall, but yeah, at least from 12C, they deprecated the product and they replaced it with Oracle GoldenGate. So I'm not talking about the stream, it is a different company. I'm talking about Oracle Streams, STREAMS. So streams no longer exist. It has been replaced by Oracle GoldenGate. So Krishna is saying yes from 11G onwards. Uh, so 11G, if I recall, both Streams and GoldenGate used to be present at that time. So they started the process of replacing Streams with GoldenGate, but completely they replaced. If I can recall, yes, from 12C they must have replaced it completely. Okay. Now there is a question cost-wise, what is the best CDC for small scale companies license cost? So again, cost-wise, guys, you need to check individually. It depends on different vendors and how good relation you have with them. Based on that, they can give you the quote and discount as well. So cost wise, I would not say which one is best, but technicality wise, best is Oracle GoldenGate. I have used this SharePlex. I have used this Attunity. I have used this AWS DMS. Each one has their own challenges. Okay. And so Golden Gate is of course, Golden Gate, I can say it's a costly product. It's not like uh, it's affordable for organization. Many of the organization don't use it. It's like small businesses. They are unable to afford the Golden Gate license as well. Okay. So it's a premium product. And of course, if a product is premium and something is charged for it, that means it has some feature which the free product is not able to provide. Okay, so these are the competitors of Oracle GoldenGate. I've listed out few. There are a lot others like EMC, Recover Point, HP has its own product, and different other products are there which are competitor. But these are the major competitors. But you can understand still, as I mentioned, 95% of data replication market is dominated by Oracle GoldenGate. The rest all are overshadowed, and they only own 5%. And out of this, 2% is owned by SharePlex. I would say 1% is owned by Click Replicate, and remaining 2% is held by all other database technology, all other data replication technologies. Okay. So now, being there, if there are so much competitors of Oracle GoldenGate in the market, why still GoldenGate is considered as a primary data replication tool? And guys, let me tell you, it's not because of cost. Okay. It's not because of cost. Okay. Before I proceed to this slide, one thing which I want to discuss here is I see this question as well. When I said that different Golden Gate competitors, Data Guard is also mentioned. Someone has mentioned in the chat window, right? But I have not mentioned over here. Why? The reason is Data Guard is not competitor of Golden Gate. You cannot compare Data Guard and Golden Gate. I again repeat, Data Guard is not a comparison to Oracle Golden Gate. Data Guard and Golden Gate are two different products and you cannot compare them. Okay. So I always give one analogy for it. You can compare apple to apple, but you cannot compare apple to orange, right? So if Data Guard is apple, Golden Gate is orange, or you can say vice versa. So there is no comparison between the two. But still, because I received this question a lot, first of all, there is one video available on my YouTube channel as well. You can search for it. If you go comparison between Data Guard and Golden Gate. So there is a webinar available on my YouTube channel as well. I can share the link and post it into the chat window as well. You can go through it and you will understand what is the difference. But one thing which I always say is Golden Gate is a free product. Sorry, Data Guard is a free product. However, Golden Gate is a chargeable product and premium product. So first and foremost thing is, if organizations are paying, or if the vendor like Oracle is charging something for Golden Gate, and if the another product is free, you cannot compare. There has to be the difference between the two. Then if I list out few differences, like with Golden Gate, you can perform data filtration and transformation. And one of the major thing is Data Guard is only data replication tool. Golden Gate primarily is not a data replication tool. It is also used for business intelligence purpose as well. Okay. Golden Gate is also used for business intelligence purpose. That means Golden Gate, along with Informatica or ODI, is one of the business intelligence tool available in the market. So organizations use Oracle Golden Gate to introduce business intelligence in their environment, like to study the customer behavior, how to improve their sales, how to improve customer satisfaction. So different things Golden Gate can assist you in. Data Guard cannot do that. Second thing is Data Guard is only for Oracle. Golden Gate is for non-Oracle databases as well. You can, as I told you, you can transform the data as well, filter out the transactions with Oracle Golden Gate. So Golden Gate supports data filtration and transformation as well. However, Data Guard doesn't support data filtration and transformation. Application can connect. Golden Gate supports bidirectional replication. That means both sides can be live. However, Data Guard is not. Golden Gate is used for zero downtime upgradation and migration. So Golden Gate can be used for database upgradation and migration purpose as well. So this is one of the feature of Oracle Golden Gate as well. So these are the few features which I have listed, but there are much more than that, which I have discussed in that video. If you get time, go through it and you will get very good knowledge and understanding of what is the difference between Data Guard and Golden Gate. Okay, one of the another feature is with Data Guard, you can have different database versions between source and target. With Golden Gate, you can have different database versions. You can have different OS as well. Like on source, it could be Linux. Target can be on Sun Solaris, or your source can be on 11G. Target can be 23 AI. Golden Gate can replicate the data. So there are many differences between Golden Gate and Data Guard, while Data Guard needs same platform, same version. So there are certain challenges with Data Guard. Okay. So as I mentioned, you can compare apple to apple, not apple to oranges. So there is no comparison between the two, but still, yeah, as people think that Data Guard is replacement of Golden Gate or vice versa. Okay. So that's why Golden Gate. That's why it's like, because people think that I introduced the comparison. Okay. Now, the use of Golden Gate is like it is used for data replication, business intelligence. Like it has multiple use cases to use Golden Gate for disaster recovery. So we'll be discussing that. Now the question comes: if there are so many competitors of Oracle Golden Gate in the market, then why Golden Gate? Why Golden Gate is used still so much? Why Golden Gate is so much popular? The reason is, with Golden Gate, data is sent in real time with sub-second latency. So Golden Gate sends the data from source to target with within near real time. So as soon as data is committed on source, it gets applied to the target in near real time. Guys, let me alert you. Oracle uses this term as real time. So Oracle promotes Golden Gate as a real time replication. But let me tell you, because I always want myself or anyone whom I'm mentoring or teaching, I want each one of you to be right first time. So Oracle uses this term real time, but remember one thing, there is nothing real time in terms of replication. Real time means if the record is getting committed on source at the very same time without any delay, even 0 millisecond delay, it should be available on the target. But that's not true. I always say it's near real time. Near real time means near to real time within few seconds it applies the data to the target. So Oracle uses the term real time, but I would use the term near real time. Okay, the reason is there is always some latency. It may be few milliseconds, it may be few seconds as well. Okay, so Golden Gate sends the data in real time with sub-second latency. Okay. So why Golden Gate? There are two reasons for it. First is technical reason and second is financial reason for an organization and as well as for you. So I'll discuss both. So first let us discuss about technical reasons why Golden Gate is used. So Golden Gate is used because data is sent in real time with sub-second latency. It means that Golden Gate applies the data from source to target within few seconds. Golden Gate supports heterogeneous environments across different database and hardware types. So, as I mentioned to you, Golden Gate can replicate the data between different databases like Oracle SQL Server, and your hardware can be different as well. So, it's not like it has to be same. Then ability to move large volume of data very efficiently. So, Golden Gate can move your blob like large objects as well. Golden Gate delivers high performance with low impact. Now, the thing is, Golden Gate, we have to accept Golden Gate is a product which is external to the database, right? It's not a product which is which resides inside the database. No, right? Golden Gate is a product which is external to the database. And when it is external to the database, I always say, even though Oracle would say or anyone would say, it's a no impact product. I would never agree to it. Because Golden Gate connects to the database, even though there is minimal, but there is some impact. So Golden Gate delivers high performance with low impact. And in fact, with this introduction of integrated extract, the impact on the database has reduced uh, significantly now. Okay. So the impact on the source database is now very minimal with this Golden Gate, with the introduction. But again, we cannot say that Golden Gate is zero impact product. It has impact on the database, but the impact is very low or minimal, which you may not notice as well. And no single point of failure. So it is very easy to troubleshoot Oracle Golden Gate with different level of troubleshooting available, like extract, pump, and replicate, which are the process. So this point we'll be discussing as the session moves on. But Golden Gate troubleshooting is pretty easy. Okay, so these are the technical reasons for Oracle Golden Gate over others. Now, what are the financial reasons for using Oracle Golden Gate? So if I talk about as an organization, so organizations, what they do is they sign nowadays they sign end user license agreement with Oracle. Okay, a lot of organizations are doing that. So end user because still see, Oracle is the major dominant player in the database market as well, right? Many people ask me this question that with this introduction of different databases, Oracle is losing its sheen. Guys, I always say one thing, that Oracle may be losing some of the customers right now. But the thing is, we only hear that Oracle has lost this customer, but we don't hear how many new customers they have acquired. So the acquisition of new customer, because the security or data validation, data is very important, right? And the security wise, Oracle is the means I could. as per me, or if I have to consider, I would consider Oracle as the best database provider still, right? So Oracle is the dominant player. So the thing is, yeah, it's correct. Some of the organizations are moving to different databases like Postgres or NoSQL or Couchbase or different databases. But there are a lot of new customers which they are acquiring as well. And number of new customers which they are acquiring right now is more than what they are losing. So we always hear the term because it's the PR team of other databases which does that. So don't worry about the future of Oracle still as of now, because the security and everything which it's provide, it is really very high. So Oracle is so Oracle, many organizations, what they do is they sign end user license agreement with Oracle. Now, when they sign end user license agreement with Oracle, so what happens is they are free to use Golden Gate in any number of environments if they have Golden Gate included. So because Golden Gate basically uses Golden Gate basically helps in business intelligence, or it has lot of capabilities apart from data replication, which organizations want to utilize, but they are not sometimes because of licensing issue. But if they have end user license agreement in their environment, they are free to use Golden Gate. So that's why they use Golden Gate, and to implement Golden Gate, they need Oracle database Oracle Golden Gate administrator, right? So Golden Gate is getting, like, organizations are using Golden Gate because of that. And for you as a personal, if I have to talk about for your personal purpose, as a personal growth, it will help you. It helps you in getting better job, and it opens lot of new jobs for you, because first thing is, if you go out for 100 database administrator jobs, there are 100,000 resumes or applicants which will get. So first of all, getting yourself shortlisted is first major thing. But if there are 100 Golden Gate jobs, you will get only 500 good resumes, or maybe less than that, 300, right? So even if there are Golden Gate, if there is database administrator requirement or opening, and if you have Golden Gate experience in your resume, and if I don't have Golden Gate experience in my resume, organization will choose you, or organization will shortlist your resume, because you will give them better uh, output than me, because you have Golden Gate in your resume. So Golden Gate is one of the major thing. And another thing is, if I talk about the salary or package wise, the Golden Gate administrator earns as of today 1.5 to 1.8 times more minimum than the regular DBS. If you have Golden Gate in your resume, you can definitely have commend very good package. This is for your personal thing. Okay. So why Golden Gate? It is best in class leader in real-time data solution. Over, like, so many customers are using it. Like, if you talk about top banks like Bank of America, State Bank of India, CIBC, in any country, Royal Bank of Scotland, UBS, all the top banks are using Golden Gate. Okay. Then busiest ATM networks are using it. Financial data service companies are using it. Telecommunication providers. So the major domain, if I talk about until 3-4 years back of Golden Gate, was banking and telecom domain. Okay. Like, if you talk about telecom, like Vodafone, Sprint, AT&T, or Rogers, or Bell Canada, or Airtel, all the top telecommunication, Sprint, they are using Golden Gate right now. Okay. So because it is being used by all top banks and telecommunication providers, it is being Like it is getting very popular because the popularity service it provides it is very huge. All food and drug stores like Shoppers Drug Mart in Canada and US, it is also using Oracle Golden Gate now. Okay. Now, Oracle Golden Gate complements existing Oracle products as well. Like it provides you continuous availability for heterogeneous systems as well. Real-time data access for reporting, real-time data for business intelligence, EPM and Exadata. So continuous availability for heterogeneous system means Golden Gate supports or provides continuous availability. Say for example, your primary server is in New York. Now, your primary server is in New York. Secondary server is in Dallas. Now, due to some reason, there is power out there is power outage in your New York. So application is unable to connect to the database in New York. So what you can do is because you are replicating your data using Oracle Golden Gate to Dallas. So Dallas is in real time sync with Oracle with New York. So what you can do is you can just switch your application to Dallas because Dallas already has all the data which is there in New York, and it can replicate the data. So it can replicate that. So your data replication is real time. Whatever data was there in New York, it is already there in Dallas. So what you just have to do if your New York is not reachable, your application just has to connect to the Dallas, and your your databases are highly available. So it provides you continuous availability for heterogeneous system. So your databases are continuously available for the application. Then it provides you real-time data access for reporting as well. Okay. So real-time data access for reporting means like uh, with Golden Gate. So what happens is, I'll give you one scenario example for it. I was working with State Bank of India in 2011-12ish. I'm talking about. Now, their database size was 43 terabytes at that time. Now, what used to happen? They were using DataGuard to replicate the data, but DataGuard for them, they used to run nightly jobs and they used to generate up to 500 GB of archives during that nightly job. Okay. Now, when they used to run that 200 GB of 500 GB of archive log, their DataGuard used to be behind. I have seen their data guard replication behind by 3 days as well. Okay. So what used to happen was if suppose their primary database goes down, there was nowhere to go to the secondary database. The primary database was kept in Mumbai, Mumbai, India, and the secondary was kept in Hyderabad, India. So if it is lagging and if it doesn't have the real-time data available, then it becomes difficult or it becomes a huge issue for them. Right. So that's why what we did, first of all, I suggested for them to replicate the data using Oracle Golden Gate. And when we replicated the data using Oracle Golden Gate, the maximum lag we noticed was approximately, I recall, 30 minutes. Even though, and especially during that time, when there was 500 GB of data, I'm talking about Golden Gate at that time was pretty new. Okay. Second thing is real-time data access for reporting. Now, again, I'll give you example of State Bank of India only. So, if you recall from India, people from India, at least they can also relate to it. In 2011, 12ish, like especially our parents, we may not have bank account in State Bank of India, but because it's a government bank. So our parents used to keep bank account in the State Bank of India. No, but at that time the customer service was very bad. Like whenever you used to go to the bank, they used to say that system is down. What did they mean by system is down? It means that application is unable to establish connectivity to the database. And why? Because their database size is 43 terabytes. And what happens is in banking and telecom domain, especially, they run a reporting lot of reporting jobs during daytime as well. And when they used to run reporting jobs on the primary database during the daytime where OLTP transactions are happening, it used to cause issues. And it used to make database performance very low and database response time used to be very slow. Okay. So, what I suggested them again at that time is they replicate the data using Oracle GoldenGate. Now, during daytime when the number of archive generation is low, GoldenGate was showing lag during the normal timing, a normal archive log generation timing. Maximum lag was around 30 seconds. Okay. So So Anjani is saying server down most of the time in SBI. So why what did they mean by server down is the database was not reachable using application. Right. So what I suggested them is for reporting job, because they are running their reporting job on OLTP transaction database as well. So what I suggested them is switch your reporting job to the secondary database, which is getting replicated using Oracle GoldenGate. Replicate the data from there. So run your reporting jobs from the replicated data so that it frees up your OLTP database, main database, and it should improve your database response as well. So because GoldenGate was replicating the data in near real time, there was maximum lag, which we noticed was 30 seconds. And we discussed, and they were okay to have reporting jobs having lag of 30 seconds. So once we did that, the you won't believe the performance of database increased a lot, and database response time also improved, and hence the customer satisfaction also improved. So now if you go, you don't see or you don't hear the term server is down a lot these days, right? So during 2011, we worked on this solution and still it is in place. Okay. So GoldenGate provides real-time data for business intelligence, EAP, and Exadata. Then GoldenGate supports zero downtime upgradation and migration to Oracle database and application. So with GoldenGate, one of the other feature with which you can use GoldenGate is zero downtime upgradation and migration. So what are the Oracle GoldenGate solutions which are used by the organization? So different solutions which are used by Oracle GoldenGate organizations are high availability. Okay. So high availability means is your database is highly available. So say for example, you're replicating the data from New York to Dallas. I gave you an example. So even though your primary database goes down, your New York server has a power outage, your application can quickly switch to Dallas, ensuring that there is zero data there is zero downtime. Now there is one point which is made by Akeem here is most of the organizations use data guard as a use case for this scenario. Guys, you are correct, but see, if I talk about data, right, State Bank of India, do you understand, even if their database is down for 5 minutes, how much revenue loss they have, how much penalty they have to face, and how much customer dissatisfaction they have to bear, right? So with data guard, it is not a, what should I say? It is not a reliable solution. Hence, they go with Golden Gate as well. So organizations which are critical, they use Golden Gate for this purpose. They may have data guard as well. They use data guard as a secondary option, but primarily they use Golden Gate so that they can they have real-time data on the target. Suppose data guard is experiencing some issues. So data guard is also there as a solution, but Golden Gate is being used as well a lot. Okay. So second is you use Golden Gate for zero downtime upgradation and migration. So Golden Gate is used for zero downtime upgradation and migration as well. So you can replicate the data, you can upgrade, you can migrate or upgrade your database using Oracle Golden Gate with zero downtime. So nowadays there is cloud migration going on as well, right? So you have to migrate the data one from on-prem to cloud. Right. So organizations use Golden Gate. They buy Golden Gate licenses for short term, for 6 months. Say, for example, they will use Golden Gate license. They will hire Oracle Golden Gate expert. They will pay well, and then they use Golden Gate for just for migration and upgradation purpose. They will migrate their database with zero downtime. And once the migration is done, they are good with this. Okay. Then they use Golden Gate for live reporting as well. Okay. So live reporting, as I mentioned, you can switch your reporting jobs on the replicated database. Then Golden Gate uses business intelligence. Golden Gate is used for business intelligence as well. So Golden Gate, along with Informatica and ODI, is one of the best business intelligence tool available in the market. So Golden Gate, along with Informatica, is one of the best business intelligence tool available in the market. So there is one point based on the discussion we did. There is one point which is being mentioned is Postgres SQL is dominating these days. See, as I mentioned, each database, there are different products available in the market, right? And there are so many organizations which are there. And with this, like with this technological age, there are a lot of new startups which are coming to into place. There are a lot of different organizations which are coming into place, and each organization need database, right? Now it depends on them what product they want to choose, what feature they want, right? So it depends on the feature. Security and data backup, everything is these means if data security is the major thing for you, you will go with Oracle. Now if you just want to store the data, and of course Oracle is a licensed product which costs money. But if you want to go with like a database wherein you just want to store the data, but you don't want it to be customer facing data, right? In that case, you can go with freeware tools. You can go with some databases which are which don't charge you much or which are free, like Postgres you can use. So it depends on the customer requirement. It depends on the data which they want to use. It depends on what is the primary reason for it. Right. So if say for example, I have to build the data. I am a trainer. Okay. I just have to build a database to keep information about my students. It is not a customer facing, it's just for myself. Like if I have to send any communication when I'm starting new batch, or if I have to add you somewhere, or if I have to give you some I have to send I have to broadcast an email, right? So I'll prepare a database at my end. Why would I choose Oracle in that case? Because it's just for me. It's not going over the internet, that particular database. So I won't choose Oracle because I don't want to pay for license for that, just for that purpose. It's just for me. So I can go to any vendor which is providing me free open source database and I can use that. So it depends on the requirement. And with so many new startups coming, each startup need a database is primary thing. So depending on that, whatever the need is, they want to use Oracle Golden Gate for that. So they want to use database for that purpose. Now it depends what database they want to use it for. And if they want to use Oracle, they can use Oracle. If they want to use Postgres, they can use Postgres. If go Postgres, if they want to use MySQL, if they can use MySQL. If they want to use SQL Server, they can use SQL Server. So they will compare everything, every aspect based on cost, security, whatever, what is their major purpose, and based on that they can use. Okay. So business intelligence, guys, is basically something like you want to identify the customer behavior. So I'll give you one best example of business intelligence. I have worked on many solution related to it, but one of the best example I'll give you. So in 2015, I was hired by Vodafone India as a consultant. I was working with them. Okay. So they what their use case was, basically, they have one database which is called as Vodafone India. Okay. Now, India has 30 states or provinces. At that time, there were 29 states and three union territories. So, for those who don't know, provinces we are talking about. So, there are different states in India like Delhi, Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra, Uttarakhand, Uttar Pradesh, and different union territories like Delhi, Andaman and Nicobar Island, and different union territories, right? So, what they wanted was basically the application when they did when application used to connect to the Vodafone India database. So say for example, I live in New Delhi. Okay. I went to New Delhi, Vodafone store. I bought a new Vodafone connection. I am a new customer, basically. So what happens is application will do the transaction and it will insert the record for me that Ashish Agarwal is the new customer. It will note down my age and different things, and it will note down where I belong to, like Vodafone Delhi. Okay. So their Vodafone India database contains the information about Vodafone Delhi, Vodafone Tamil Nadu, Vodafone Maharashtra, Vodafone Karnataka, Vodafone Uttar Pradesh, Vodafone Uttarakhand. Okay. What they wanted using Golden Gate was they wanted that they wanted to create 30 different databases, including all the states like Vodafone Delhi, Vodafone Tamil Nadu, Vodafone Maharashtra, Vodafone Uttarakhand. So what they wanted was using application, the data will be returned to the Vodafone India database. Using from there, using Golden Gate, it should replicate to respective database where the customer belong to, or he or she has bought the connection from. So say for example, I went to Delhi Vodafone, I bought the connection, I'm new customer of Vodafone. Using application, the entry will be made to Vodafone India. Now, then using Golden Gate, it should be replicated to Vodafone Delhi, stating that there is a new customer in Vodafone Delhi. If, say, for example, you go to you want to go to Chennai Vodafone store, which is in Tamil Nadu, India. So you went there, you bought the connection. Now your entry will be made to Vodafone India using application. Using Golden Gate, it should be replicated to Vodafone Tamil Nadu. Same way, whoever goes to Karnataka, his entry should be made to Vodafone Karnataka using Golden Gate, and so on. So what you will have at the end of the day is you will have the picture, how many new customers you have, how many customers you are losing. Okay. So based on that, Vodafone was able to identify like what are the best selling zones for them or states for them, or what are the least popular states for them where they don't have much presence. So what they use was they used to find like how they can improve sales where they are already doing good, and what marketing strategy they could apply in the places where they are going good, where they are doing good to where they are not doing that well, so that they can increase their customer base. Okay. So when I did the implemented this solution for them, they were able to identify that they were not doing that well in Vodafone, like Tamil Nadu state. So whatever strategy they had in Vodafone Delhi, and Delhi was the best selling a customer acquired state for them. So whatever strategy they introduced in Delhi, they tried to market the same in Tamil Nadu, and it helped them, of course. Okay, and it also helps them to identify what bad they are doing, what strategy they are implementing, which may not be doing well for them in the places where they are not doing good. So basically, business intelligence is different way to increase the customer. What should I say? Customer engagement and customer acquirement. Basically, to improve the business. Okay, like business intelligence nowadays, Golden Gate business intelligence is being used by Amazon. Amazon is using it. Oracle, of course, is using it. Netflix is using Oracle GoldenGate. Uber is using Oracle GoldenGate. So I'm naming the major, like your day-to-day companies, what you use, they are using Oracle GoldenGate. Like name your bank, name your credit card company, name your financial institution. Everywhere GoldenGate is being used. Okay. So GoldenGate is most sought after product in this data replication technology. So GoldenGate supports multiple databases and platforms. Now, one question which was produced here was which databases GoldenGate supports and which operating system and platforms it supports. So to answer the same, this you can answer on your own. You don't need to be dependent on this list. Guys, one thing which I want, which I provide you in this training is you or I want you to be is self-sufficient. You should be able to answer things on your own. You should not be dependent. So the next question which you may ask is like which databases Golden Gate supports or which OS and platform it supports is you will be able to answer this on your own. I have mentioned some of them over here, but how can you answer this on your own? I'll discuss that when I discuss the certification matrix. So upon reading the certification matrix of Golden Gate, you will understand what database and what platforms Golden Gate supports. So these are the few databases I have mentioned. Golden Gate supports much more than that, and these platforms like Oracle, IBM DB2, SQL Server, Sybase, Ingress, Teradata, Nscribe. So initially, when Golden Gate was developed, it was developed for ATM systems, which uses Nscribe database. Initially in 1995, then SQL, MySQL. It supports different platforms like Windows, Linux, Sun Solaris, HP, different flavors, IBM, different flavors. Okay. So now let us discuss about different architectures of Oracle Golden Gate. So at the start of this session, I mentioned that this training is about classic architecture. So many of you would know because I have been trying to tell you different types of architectures and overall Golden Gate family a lot, but I'll discuss that again. So what is classic architecture? What is microservices and what is Veridata? Let us discuss about that. So Oracle Golden Gate family as a whole contains three things: classic architecture, microservices, and Veridata. So if you go out for any job support, any interview, anything related to Golden Gate will come from these three things: classic architecture, microservices, and Veridata. Okay, so these are the three things which are part of Oracle Golden Gate family. Now, what is classic architecture? Okay, initially when Golden Gate was developed, okay, as I told you, in 1995, Golden Gate was founded. In 2009, Oracle overtook. Now, initially, when Golden Gate was founded, from 2009 to 2017, there was only one way to configure Golden Gate, and that was through command prompt GGSCI. So, GGSCI stands for Golden Gate Software Command Line Interface, and it is the method of configuring Golden Gate in GGSCA environment. So, until 2017, it was called as Oracle Golden Gate. In 2017, Oracle renamed it to Oracle Golden Gate Classic Architecture. Okay. So Oracle renamed it to Oracle Golden Gate Classic Architecture. So Oracle Golden Gate Classic Architecture is available since beginning. It is available for both Oracle as well as non-Oracle databases since beginning. And as of now, its presence in the market is 80 to 85%. Okay. So Oracle Golden Gate Classic Architecture is GGSCI based architecture, which allows you to set up, manage, troubleshoot, configure Golden Gate through command prompt. Okay. In 2017, that is from Oracle Golden Gate version 12.3 onwards. Okay. Oracle launched a new architecture of Golden Gate, which is called as Oracle Golden Gate Microservices Architecture. So Oracle launched a new architecture called as Microservices Architecture, which is REST API based architecture. And one of the major feature of Oracle GoldenGate microservices is GUI. So it has GUI as well. So you can set up, manage, troubleshoot, configure GoldenGate through GUI as well. So as of today, when I talk about the presence of microservices is 15 to 20%. So the high probability is if you go out into the market, still you will find classic architecture. Okay. So this microservices architecture support until 19C was available for only Oracle database. From 21C onwards, the support has been introduced for non-Oracle databases as well. Okay. So until 19C, microservices was available for only Oracle database. From 21C onwards, support for non-Oracle database was also introduced. Okay. So now you have two types of architecture, Oracle GoldenGate Classic Architecture and Oracle GoldenGate Microservices Architecture. So Oracle GoldenGate Classic Architecture is command prompt based architecture. Microservices is REST API GUI based architecture. Okay. Now 80 to 85% of implementations are still on classic architecture. Microservices presence, I would say, is 15 to 20%. But it is important to note that still, if you go out into the market, there is high probability that you will still find classic architecture being used. Okay. Now, one thing which I want to tell you is classic architecture is deprecated from Golden Gate version 23 AI. So 21C is the last version where classic architecture is available. From 23 AI, Oracle Golden Gate 23 AI onwards, it's only microservices architecture which is available. Okay. So if I have to tell you, until Golden Gate version 12.2, only classic architecture was available. Okay. From 12.3 to Golden Gate 21C. So guys, whenever I talk about version here, it means Golden Gate version. It's not database version or any other version. So until Golden Gate 12.2, only classic architecture was available. From Golden Gate version 12.3 to 21C, both classic and microservices coexist. So basically, you can pick and choose what architecture you want. Of course, based on support available. So if it's supported, you can install or implement classic architecture, or you can implement microservices architecture. From 23C onwards, 23 AI, not 21C. So GG 23 AI onwards, only microservices architecture is available. Classic architecture is deprecated now. There is no more classic architecture from Golden Gate version 23 AI onwards. Okay. Now, there is a question which is very valid question. Ashish, you are saying that classic architecture is deprecated, but why are you training us on 21C classic architecture? Guys, the reason is I always recommend this as well. Classic architecture, though it is getting deprecated, still the major player in the market is classic architecture. And it is going to stay here for next 3 to 4 years. Okay. And if you go out into the market, still you will find classic architecture available. Okay. And another major thing is when you learn classic architecture, learning microservices becomes easier as well. See, the major thing is when you work on command prompt, like people who started working on DOS, I give this analogy a lot many times. You might have heard. If not heard, I'll give it again. When I started working on computers, so I directly started working on GUI. So internally, I don't know how things works. I just click the things. It is of course easier, but internally I don't understand how things work. So it doesn't make me expert. I'm just a consumer. I'm not a creator in that. I'm not able to basically do anything. I'm just able to consume the product, but not able to find any reason for it, right? But people who started working on DOS, They know what they are doing internally, what commands they have to run, what internally how things are working. So they know each and everything. So same thing applies here. When you start working on classic architecture, you know basics of Golden Gate. You know how things work. So that's why I recommend. Uh, apart from classic architecture is being dominant player in the market still. Okay. So Oracle Golden Gate Classic Architecture is command from GGSCI based architecture, and it is available for both Oracle as well as non-Oracle database, and post 21c it is deprecated. Microservices is available from 12.3 onwards. One of the major difference between the two is microservices GUI command prompt is classic architecture is command prompt GGSCI based. One of the other things is microservices is future of Oracle Golden Gate. Now, one more question which is being asked from me is like, what is the future of Oracle Golden Gate microservices architecture? Okay, what is the future of Oracle Golden Gate as a whole? So the thing is, see, at least based on my vision and based on my discussion with Oracle, I feel like Oracle Golden Gate at least is here to stay for next 5 to 7 years. At least it can be more, but you never know if competitors come, right? We all know what happened to Nokia. In 2009, it was the major player, but now it's no longer there, right? So change is, I always say one thing, change is the only constant in this world. So, but one major thing is why Nokia failed was because it didn't change itself according to the changing environment. It didn't change itself. It didn't accept the latest things like Android, which was first offered to Nokia. It declined, and then Samsung and Apple, they grew multifold, right? So Nokia didn't change itself according to the changing market, which is very important to keep intact. So, with Oracle introducing microservices, and microservices, you must have seen a lot of technologies are going to microservices like ServiceNow. So if they have acquired microservices now, Golden Gate, they have introduced microservices based architecture where things runs as a service. In classic architecture, is process based architecture. However, microservices is service based architecture, and it allows better integration with cloud application. So the future of Oracle Golden Gate is bright, of course, and it is here to stay for a long time. Another reason is there is no immediate competitor in the site which we can see as of now. Okay. So it allows setup, manage, troubleshoot, configure Golden Gate through GUI as well. It allows better integration with clouds. Now, Oracle database support for microservices is available until 19c. From 19c, support for microservices has been extended for non-Oracle database. Now, from 12.3 to 21c, classic and microservices both exist, and you can pick and choose what you want to implement, what type of architecture you want to implement. Okay. So these are the two architectures in Oracle Golden Gate environment. Now the question is which one you should start with. I would highly recommend start with classic architecture. That would be much better for you. Now another product in Oracle Golden Gate family is Oracle Golden Gate Veridata. How many of you have heard about it? Give me a raise your hand or type in the chat window me. So okay, okay. Okay, thank you guys. So many of you have heard. That's good. I see only one no so far. So that's okay. But I'll still introduce. No worries. So Veridata is another product in Golden Gate family which allows you to verify the data. Now Veridata is a separately licensed product. It's again is a licensed product here. So it's a separate but very useful product. So it's another licensed product in Oracle Golden Gate family, which is used to find discrepancies between two objects, and it can repair those discrepancies as well. Now, Veridata, as the name suggests, it verifies the data for you. So say, for example, on source, you have 10,000 records in a table. On target, you have 9,000 records. So what Veridata can do for you is it can identify the discrepant records for you, and it can repair those discrepancies for you as well. Veridata nowadays is getting very popular due to these cloud migrations going on. So organizations want to confirm whether their data is in sync or not upon migration. So that's why Veridata is getting very popular nowadays. Okay. So Veridata is getting very popular nowadays due to these cloud migrations going on. So, so Veridata is used to find the data discrepancy between the two objects. Now, there is a valid question which is being asked by Blazier. Since the classic architecture is deprecated, that means a company that is introducing GoldenGate, that means that who is now introducing GoldenGate, will they only go with MSA? So, guys, the thing is, Oracle is pushing its customers to use microservices architecture. But the problem here is being a who implements GoldenGate in your environment? It's the GoldenGate administrator. So as of now, lot of organizations, in fact, new implementations are going with classic architecture because first, there are very less competency available in GoldenGate. And even if it is available, they know classic architecture. Many of them don't know microservices. So in the organization, whatever the SME suggests, they go with that. So SME, based on their experience and knowledge, they recommend classic architecture, hence organization go with classic architecture. But Oracle is promoting a lot this microservices architecture, and some organizations implement it if they have skill set to do it. If they don't have, then they go with classic architecture. Okay, so Oracle GoldenGate family contains classic architecture, microservices, as well as very data. Now, one question which I want to ask is, with the introduction of classic architecture, okay, in my integrated no longer exist. So this is a question which I receive from many people. Do you have the same question? So my question is, with the introduction of microservices, does integrated no longer exist? What do you think? Type in the chat or comment section. So I again repeat my question. With the introduction of microservices, does integrated no longer exist? What do you think? Okay, false, false. Okay, okay. So whatever answer I have received, everyone is saying it exists. So it's good. That means you know the concept. But for those who don't know, let me make it clear. So in Golden Gate, you have different types of extracts and replicates. So how Golden Gate replication works is, just to give you a brief overview. You have a source database and you replicate that data to the target database. Okay. So from the source database, with help of extract process, Golden Gate extract process, you have to configure. It captures the data, and with help of Replicat, Golden Gate Replicat, you apply the data into the target database. So extract process extracts the data from the source database, and the Replicat process applies it to the target database. So there are different types of extracts and replicats available in the market. So what are the different types of extracts and replicats? So different types of extracts and replicates are integrated extract and classic extract. So integrated extract is available from Golden Gate version 11.2.04 and database version 11.2.03. Prior to that, it was only classic extract. Now it is integrated extract. So integrated extract is recommended to be used. In fact, from Golden Gate 21C, you cannot use classic extract. Only you can set up integrated extract for Oracle databases. Okay. So there are two types of extract, integrated and classic. So the performance of integrated extract is much faster. The support of integrated extract is much better than the classic extract. Okay. Then there are different types of replicates as well. Like non-integrated or classic replicate, which was there since beginning. Then Golden Gate introduced integrated replicate from Golden Gate version 12.1 and database 12.2. Coordinated replicate was introduced in 12.3, and the latest feature or latest version of replicate which has been introduced recently is Golden Gate version 12.3. So there are two types of replicates which are available in parallel replicate. One is parallel non-integrated replicate, and second is parallel integrated replicate. Okay. So parallel non-integrated replicate is available from database version 12.1 and Golden Gate version 12.3. Parallel integrated replicate is available from database version 12.2 and Golden Gate version 12.3. Okay. So integrated is, to get the confusion clear, integrated is type of extract and type of replicate. So in our environment, we'll be using Golden Gate version 21C. So 21C is basically extension of 12.3 or Golden Gate 19C. So whatever features are there, they are available. Whatever features were available in 12.3 or 19C, they are also available in 21C with some new features. Okay. So now when you have to set up Golden Gate, you can pick and choose whether you want to implement integrated replicate or integrated extract or any other type of extract or replicate. Now, from so Golden Gate version, you can, if you have Golden Gate version 12.1, or you can choose whether you want to go with integrated replicate or coordinated replicate, or you can choose parallel replicate as well in your environment. Whatever type of replicate you want to choose or extract you want to choose, you can pick and choose any type of extract or replicate in your environment. So now integrated, now there was a question with the introduction of microservices, does integrated no longer exist? So the answer to the question is integrated exists under classic architecture. You can set up integrated extract or classic extract or integrated replicate or any other replicate. Under microservices architecture, you can set up any type of extract or replicate. Okay, so you can pick and choose, of course, if it's supported based on the support, of course. So you can pick and choose what type of extract or what type of replicate you want to apply. So integrated is type of extract and type of replicate. So I again repeat, there are two types of architectures in Golden Gate. One is classic architecture and second is microservices architecture. Okay. So based on this understanding, can you guys type in the chat window if you are working on Golden Gate? What type of architecture is being used by your organization? Type it in the chat window. Okay, so under classic architecture, you can use, you can implement integrated extract or integrated replicate or any other replicate. Under microservices architecture, there is classic extract, integrated extract, or different types of replicates. Okay. So based on the answers received, I see one answer for microservices. Rest 18 are using 17. Rest 17 are using classic. Okay. So see here as well, you can see the ratio. 90% it's classic. So still classic is the dominant player, even though it is getting deprecated from 23. But yeah, so if I have to sum it up, classic architecture is the present of Golden Gate. Microservices is future of Oracle GoldenGate. Now, Veridata is another product in GoldenGate environment, which is getting very popular nowadays as well. Veridata is getting very popular due to these cloud migrations going on. So, Veridata organization just buy Veridata for data comparison purpose as well. So, this is getting very popular as well. Okay. So now, after discussing different types of architectures, let us now discuss about Oracle Golden Gate architecture and how it works. Okay. So you have a source database and a target database. So this is the architecture of Golden Gate. Now, mm, guys, let me tell you one thing. When I started learning the database, when I started learning, my teacher told me one thing that if you have learned database, okay, you have understood 70 to 80% of uh, database. And I agree, at least 50 to 60% you have understood. But with Golden Gate, I say that if you have learned Golden Gate, you have learned 70 to 80% of Golden Gate. So if you have understood Golden Gate, if you have understood architecture basically, you can set up Golden Gate using that. You can maintain, manage, configure, troubleshoot Golden Gate from there. Okay. So that is the thing. Okay. So now let us discuss about Oracle Golden Gate architecture. So Oracle Golden Gate architecture, you have a source database and a target database. Guys, I want each one of you to pay utmost importance to this because this is very important and one of the major thing to learn to start your learning. Okay, so you will see going forward in the subsequent sessions when we implement Oracle Golden Gate. So we will be using this architecture to set up, manage, troubleshoot, configure Golden Gate. Okay, so in Golden Gate, so you have a source database and a target database. So source database can be any Oracle or any non-Oracle supported database, and the target database can be any Oracle or any non-Oracle supported database. So each database has its own transaction logs. In case of Oracle, we call these transaction logs as redo logs or backup of redo logs, which are called as archive logs. Okay, so we call these transaction logs as redo logs or archive logs in Oracle database. So whatever changes are happening in the database, those changes gets returned into the transaction logs of the database. So whatever changes, whether it is insert, update, delete, or any uncommitted transaction as well, those changes will be returned into the transaction logs. So what you do, you configure Golden Gate extract process, which is also called as capture process. So guys, during this training, we will be using terms like capture, apply, extract, and replicate. So when we are using capture or extract, they are used as interchangeably. So if I use extract, it means capture, or if I use capture, it means extract. Same way, if I use apply and replicate, so apply means replicate or replicate means apply. Okay, so these terms are used interchangeably. So the changes are written into the transaction logs. So the transaction logs contains committed as well as uncommitted transactions. Okay. Now, once though the transactions gets returned into the transaction logs, there is Golden Gate extract process which reads data from the transaction logs and captures only committed transaction. So it reads the data from the transaction logs and captures only committed transactions. Okay, so transaction logs are read in the sequential manner and it captures those transactions and writes to the trail file on local machine. So remember one thing, extract process only captures committed transaction. Any uncommitted transaction is not captured by Oracle GoldenGate extract process. Okay. So that once the transaction is captured or extracted, it writes them to the trail files on local machine. So these are the trail files which are binary format and they reside on the operating system. They are just like your archive logs at the database level. Just like archive logs are present at the database level, in the same way you have GoldenGate trail files which are binary format. So the extract process reads the transaction log, captures the committed transactions, and writes them to the trail file on local machine. So the trail file residing on the source machine are called as local trail file or source trail file. Okay. Now, once the transactions are captured into the local trail file, the data pump process reads the data from local trail, sends it over TCP/IP network, and writes it to trail file on remote machine, which are called as remote trail file. So the data pump process reads the data from local trail, sends it over TCP/IP network, and writes it to remote trail file on remote machine. So the format of the trail file is same. So just like local trail file, there is remote trail file on target. And guys, remember one thing, the data pump process does not transfer the trail file over TCP/IP network. No, it transfers the data which is returned into local trail. That data gets transferred to remote trail file. So as soon as data becomes available into local trail, data pump process will read the data from local trail and then it will write that to the remote trail on the target server. Once the data is available onto the remote trail file, once the data is available into the remote trail file, there is a delivery process which is also called as the replicat process. It reads the remote trail file and write it to target database. So the trail file residing on the source machine is called a source trail or local trail. The trail file residing on the target machine is called as the remote trail file. So local trail file on source database is called as local trail because it is local to the source database. However, on target system, it is called as remote trail file because it is remote to the source database. Okay. So I again repeat, this architecture is very important. So how GoldenGate architecture works, you have source database and target database. Each database has its own transaction logs. So the transaction logs contains committed as well as uncommitted transaction. So you configure GoldenGate extract process or capture process, which is also called as extract process, which reads the data from the transaction logs and captures only committed transactions. Once the transactions are captured, it writes them to the trail file on local machine, which are called as local trail files. Once the data is available into the local trail file, the data pump process reads the data from local trail, send it over TCP/IP network and writes it to remote trail file on target side. Once the data is available into the remote trail file, the replicat process reads the data from remote trail and apply it to target database. Okay. So this is how data flow happens in Oracle GoldenGate. So remember one thing, pump process is, so capture process is data extraction mechanism of Oracle GoldenGate. Pump process is data transfer mechanism which reads the data from local trail and writes it to remote trail, and delivery or replicat process is data apply mechanism which apply the data to the target database. So pump process, guys, I again repeat, this is very important for you to know. Pump process doesn't transfer the trail file over the TCP/IP network. It reads the data from local trail and writes the data to the remote trail. So there are two different files, local trail and remote trail. It just writes the data from local trail to remote trail. Okay. So there are three processes involved in Oracle GoldenGate replication: extract, pump, and the replicat process. These are the three processes responsible for Oracle GoldenGate replication. Okay. Now GoldenGate also supports bidirectional replication. So bidirectional means both the sites will be live. So both the sites access source and both the sites access target in Oracle GoldenGate bidirectional. So bidirectional I always call as two-way unidirectional. Okay. So two-way unidirectional means is, guys, you might see a lot of time, if you see my video, I'm looking at in a different position because I have different cameras. So I have to look into the system, I have to look into the camera. So that's why it may look like that. Okay. So bidirectional is, I always say, nothing but two-way unidirectional. So two-way unidirectional means is, just like you set up site 1 to site 2 replication. In the same way, now site 2 will act as source and site 1 will act as target. So again, site 2 will have its own transaction logs. So it contains committed as well as uncommitted transaction. You configure GoldenGate extract process on site 2 now, which will read the data from the transaction logs and write to the local trail. Once the data is available into the local trail, the data pump process residing on site 2 will read the data from local trail, send it over TCP/IP network, and write it to remote trail on site A. Once the data is available into the remote trail on site A, the replicate process on site A will read the data from remote trail and apply it to site 1 database. Okay, so consider bidirectional as two-way unidirectional with some consideration like loop conflicts, which we'll be discussing during our topic of bidirectional. Okay, so GoldenGate supports both unidirectional as well as bidirectional replication. So if I have to consider one more difference between DataGuard and GoldenGate, this is another difference, that GoldenGate supports bidirectional replication as well. Okay, so there are three processes majorly involved in this architecture: extract, pump, and replicate. Now, there is one more process in GoldenGate which is called as manager process, which is a mandatory process which sits on top of all of that. So it is a component of Oracle GoldenGate environment which manages Oracle GoldenGate complete environment. So all the processes, trail files you see, all those are managed by the manager processes. So there are three processes for replication purpose: extract, pump, and replicate. Now, one point you have to keep in mind here is each process you see over here in architecture has a source to read from and a target to write to. So each process over here, what you see, has a source to read from and a target to write to. So what is the source of extract process? The source of extract process is transaction logs of the database, right? And what is the target? Local trail file. What is the source of pump process? The source of pump process is local trail and the target is remote trail. What is the source of replicate process? So the source of replicate process is remote trail and the target is target database. So each process in GoldenGate has a source to read from and a target to write. One more point. The target of extract process is local trail, which acts as source for the data pump process. Same way, the target of pump is remote trail, which acts as source for the replicate process. So remember one thing, each process in GoldenGate is independent of each other. So basically, your extract process can run even though your pump and replicate are down. Your pump process can run even though your extract and replicates are down. Your replicate process can run even though your pump and extract processes are down. However, for data purpose, each process is dependent on each other. So for data purpose, pump process is dependent on extract process, because if data is not returned by the extract process in the local trail, pump process cannot write data to remote trail. Same way, replicate process is dependent on pump process for the data purpose. So unless pump process writes the data to the remote trail, the replicate process cannot apply data to the target database. So again, I repeat, three processes are involved: extract, pump, and replicate process. So this is the data flow, how it happens. Okay. The extract process reads the transaction logs and captures the committed transactions. Once the transactions are captured, it writes the data to the local trail file. Once the data is available into the local trail file, data pump process reads the data from local trail, sends it over TCP/IP network, and writes it to the remote trail file. Once the data is available into the remote trail file, the replicate process reads the data from remote trail and apply it to target database. Okay, so there are three processes involved in Oracle GoldenGate: extract, pump, and the replicate process. Extract, pump, and the replicate process. So these are the three processes. These are the three processes which are responsible for Oracle GoldenGate replication, and this is how your data flow would happen in your environment. GoldenGate also supports bidirectional replication. So in bidirectional, you will have your extract. You will have on site 2, you will have your extract process, writing data to local trail, then pump process reading the data, writing data to remote trail, and then replicate process applying it to target database on site 1. So GoldenGate supports bidirectional. So guys, in bidirectional here, if you see the extract process, pump process, the replicate process running on site 1 to site 2 are independent on extract pump running on site 2 to replicate process running on site 1. So all these processes are completely independent of each other. All these processes, what you see, are completely independent of each other. They are not at all dependent. The extract process on one side can run, the extract process on another side can run. It's not like they are dependent. For one to run, other has to run. Now, of course, for the data wise, yes, this pump process is dependent on this extract. This replicate process is dependent on pump process. Same way, this pump process is dependent on this extract. This replicate process is dependent on this pump process, of course, for the data purpose. However, they can continue to run even if other is not running. Okay, so there is a question that is pump process mandatory? Guys, this question I'll answer in the subsequent sessions. As of now, consider it is mandatory. It is recommended to use, though it is said, yeah, it is possible to remove pump process from your GoldenGate configuration. But yes, it is not mandatory, but yes, it is recommended to be used. Okay. Now, there is another question: how to check the processes status, background process names like in DB, SMON, PMON, etc. So that question will be answered to you again as the subsequent sessions goes on. In which use case can we use bidirectional? So I'll give you a just brief overview of this. I'll again try to answer this when we discuss bidirectional. So one of the scenario of bidirectional I can give you, I was working with one of the client, right? So they had two sites available. One was in London and another one was in Rochdale, UK. So what they used to do is they used to send some files. So sometimes the files used to be sent on London database. Sometimes they used to send it on Rochdale. So if the file is coming on London database, it should be replicated and sent to Rochdale. If the file is coming to Rochdale, it should be sent to London. Same way, telecom domain, one of the client of mine, they have it's a big telecom client. So one customer, database is in Toronto and another site is in Vancouver. So what they do is if the customer makes a phone call, it can either come to Toronto or it can either go to Vancouver. So whatever way the application is, the call is coming on, it should be replicated to other site without any issues. So these are the few two things which I'm telling you. Another use case is using it in DR drill as well. In bidirectional, a lot of organizations use it. Okay. Now there is a question: how many extract, pump, or replicate process can be configured? Again, we'll discuss that in our when we set up Oracle GoldenGate in the subsequent session. Okay. Okay. Now, one thing which I discussed with you was related to different types of architectures in GoldenGate. One thing which I discussed was one thing which I discussed was integrated extract. Right. Now the question is, what is integrated extract and what is the difference between integrated and classic extract? Let us discuss about that as well. So integrated extract has been introduced from GoldenGate version 11.204. Okay. So what is integrated extract? So integrated extract is basically your new way of extracting the data. It integrates itself with the database as the name suggests. Okay, so initially when extract was launched, means when GoldenGate was launched, there was only one type of extract and it was called as GoldenGate extract. When integrated was launched, they renamed the existing type of extract, traditional extract, to classic extract, and they launched a new extract called as integrated extract. So what is integrated extract? So in classic extract, what happens is basically the extract process reads the transaction logs in sequential manner and it directly reads the transaction. Okay, so the extract process establishes connectivity with source database and it reads the transaction logs in sequential manner. What happens in integrated extract? Okay, in integrated extract, what happens is in integrated extract, when you register, you have to register your integrated extract to the database. When you register, a log miner database is built. So what is log miner? Log miner is basically the copy of your redo logs and archive logs. So suppose what you are doing, so what happens is when you set up, you don't have to do any extra setup. When we do the setup, you will understand, but this is just for your understanding. So when you are doing the setup, basically what happens is when you register your integrated extract to the database, so automatically a log miner database gets built. So what transactions go into the log miner? What is log miner? Log miner is basically a copy of your redo logs or archive logs. So what happens is you are doing any insert, update, delete, any changes what you are making, it will be returned into the redo logs. Now the copy of that change will get returned into the log miner database as well. So the copy of that particular change will also be returned into the log miner database. So copy of that particular change, whatever change has been returned into the redo logs, the copy of that change will be returned into the log miner. So log miner is nothing but a copy of your redo logs or archive logs. Okay. Now, once log miner receives the changes, whatever changes are required by the extract process, log miner will pass on those changes in form of LCR. LCR stands for logical change records. So log miner will pass on those changes to the extract process in form of LCR. LCR stands for logical change records. So once it passes on the changes which are required by the the extract process then writes the data to the local trail file and then data pump reads it. So basically, What happens in this scenario is the extract process directly doesn't connect to the database. Instead, it receives the changes which are required by the extract process from the log miner database. It receives the changes from the log miner database, and log miner passes on those changes as logical change records. Now you may ask, what is logical change records? So logical change record is a terminology which is internally used for GoldenGate in the way it passes on the changes to the extract process. So whatever records are changed and required by the extract process, it log miner passes on those changes to the extract process in form of the extract process, in form of what is required by the extract process. So logically it does that internally. So you don't have to do anything. This is just the concept which logical change record. So log miner passes on those changes to the extract process in form of LCRs. So I again repeat, integrated extract, how it works is you have whatever changes are getting returned, whatever changes are happening in the database, those changes gets returned into the database transaction log. So basically redo logs and archive logs. Now, once those changes are returned, the copy of those changes gets returned into the log miner database. Then log miner passes on those changes to the extract process in form of LCRs, logical change records. And then extract process writes them to the local trail file, and then your continuous replication happens. Okay. So is there additional storage required for log miner setup? No, no additional storage is required. Okay. Now, the thing is, one thing which I want to tell you is the performance of integrated extract is 5 times faster than this contemporary classic extract. The performance of integrated extract is 5 times faster, almost 5 times faster than its contemporary classic extract. How come it is possible? If I look at this logically, if I have to look, the classic extract is directly establishing the connection with the source database, and then it is capturing the changes directly. There is no intermediate layer in between. However, if I look at the architecture of integrated extract, so in integrated extract and transaction logs, there is one more layer in between, which is log miner, right? So how come, or what could be the reason that the performance of integrated extract is faster than classic extract? Why do you think that would be the case? Anyone, if you have answer this, just type in the chat window. So logically, if I have to ask, if I have to see this, I've told you what is classic extract and integrated extract. So in integrated extract, there is log miner layer in between. But on the other hand, I'm also telling you the performance of integrated extract is 5 times faster than the classic extract. How come is that possible? So the performance of integrated extract is 5 times faster, and it is really very fast. Why? Let me tell you. The reason for this is, see, here in classic extract, what happens is the extract process is external to the database. GoldenGate is a process which is external to the database. And extract process is establishing the connectivity with the database, and it is reading the transaction logs sequentially. And then whatever it finds, it writes them to the trail files, right? So suppose, if I have to say this, suppose in the transaction logs, so your transaction logs contain sys system transactions as well. And For the extract process, I only want to capture the transactions of department and employee table. So suppose in the transaction logs, you have 1,000 system transactions coming, 2,000 system transactions are coming, 20,000. After that, there is two transactions related to department. Then there are 100,000 sys transaction, 100,000 system, and two employee table related transactions. So what happens is classic extract first has to go through all these sys transactions, all these system transactions one by one, and then it will find these two transactions and then it will capture. Same way, these 100,000 system transaction it has to go through, and then it will see those two employee related transaction, and then it will capture and apply. So because extract process is external to the transaction, it has to read these transactions sequentially, and it is performance wise, it is not that great, because the extract process establishes a connection, it establishes the connectivity with the database using the golden gate user you create in the database. However, in integrated extract, what happens is logminer is a utility which is internal to the database, and it has all the changes which are required for extract process. So so whatever task which was done by the extract process earlier, logminer will do that task. And because logminer is internal to the database, it is it do it more quickly and faster in comparison to the classic extract. So now, whatever transactions, so here in this scenario, two department transactions and two employee transactions were required by the extract process. So logminer will pass on those changes to the extract process which are required and which is internal to the database. Hence, the extract process will integrated extract would be much faster than the classic extract. And even if you have to look at the architecture of integrated extract. So integrated extract architecture, there are multiple processes individually which runs. So there is really, so internally when your integrated extract is created and you register it to the database, if you go to number of processes at the database level, you will find four processes individually which would be there, like reader, preparer, builder, and capture. So reader process reads the data, preparer prepares the data, builder builds the data, and then capture process captures the data and writes it to the, and capture process sends the data to the extract process, which is then returned to the local trail file. Okay. So internally now it is very much faster integrated extract. Now there is a question, why would you use classic extract? So first of all, classic extract is deprecated. Second thing is integrated extract is only supported for Oracle database. For non-Oracle database, it still uses classic extract. Okay. So if anywhere as per version, Oracle database, Golden Gate version, if you find both classic or integrated extract is supported, go with integrated extract. Another reason is the support of, apart from performance, the data types it supports, or if you have to configure it with rack or ASM or any other thing, it doesn't require any extra setup. The way you configure it for standalone, the way you configure it for non-ASM, in the same way you will configure it for rack or ASM. So that is the major advantage. And from 21C onwards, classic extract for Oracle database is deprecated. For non-Oracle database, it is still there. But for Oracle database, it is deprecated. So the performance of uh, integrated extract is much faster than the classic extract. Okay. So this is, so when we do the setup of integrated, when we do the configuration of Golden Gate, okay, so you will see that how we set up this, how we are going to set up the processes, integrated extract, and regarding this log miner, you don't have to do any. extra configuration. You just register it to the database and automatically log miner build happens. So there is no extra setup or configuration required. Okay. Okay. So on that note, the next topic what I want to discuss is regarding downloading the Oracle GoldenGate software. How do we download? Let us see. So before you can download the Oracle GoldenGate software, one thing what you have to do is you have to basically few things you have to keep in mind. First thing is you have to prepare the hardware for Oracle GoldenGate installation, and second is then you have to download the software. Okay, so let us see. So how can you download? First of all, to download the software, you can go to you can go to OTN, Oracle Technology Network, or you can go to edelivery.oracle.com. So Logminer is from Oracle database. It's Oracle database. Like you must have heard Logminer being used for mining the archive logs, which is used to read the archive logs. So it is same Logminer. Okay. Okay. Sri has a question. Ashish, in both the cases, extract process is still the external, right? Yes, extract process is still the external. However, the way it is receiving the changes or retrieving the changes is different, right? So extract process is external to the database. That's absolutely correct. Okay. Now let us see how can we download the Oracle GoldenGate software. So to download the Oracle GoldenGate software, you can do download Oracle GoldenGate 21C because this is 21C software. So to download 21C, uh, you can either go to OTN, Oracle Technology Network. Okay. So here you will find 23 AI as well. Okay. So we have 21C. So guys, remember one thing, until 21C, you see here there are two types of binary available. One is Oracle GoldenGate 21.3 and second is 21.3 microservices. So the one which doesn't say anything, it means it's classic architecture binaries, and the one which says microservices, it means microservices binary. However, from 23 AI, it's only microservices, hence it will only show you Oracle GoldenGate 23.4 for on Oracle or Linux. It doesn't say whether it is microservices or whether it is classic because from now onwards it's only microservices. So until 21C, you have different binaries available for microservices and classic. So if it doesn't say anything, it is classic. If it says microservices, that means it is microservices architecture binary. Okay. Okay. So now before you proceed to download the binary, so suppose you are trying to download the binary which you cannot find over here, so you can go to edelivery.oracle.com and from there as well you can download the binary. Now before you download the binary, there are few things you need to keep in mind. So first thing is you have to identify what is source database type, source database version and platform. Same way you need to identify target database type, target database version and target platform. Okay. So in our case, the virtual boxes which will be shared with you. Okay. These virtual boxes, guys, you can also download. Let me share the link. So they are available on my website as well. So if you go to the virtual boxes which we are going to use during the training. So if you go to my website, which is just 1 minute. So to download these virtual boxes, you can go to extrancotech.com. Okay. There you will find virtual box over there. Why it's not opening? Uh, why it's not reachable right now? That is weird. If you go to extrancotech.com, try from your side whether it is reachable or not. I'm not sure why it's not reachable. Okay, it's reachable now. This response from the server seemed to be a bit slow. So it is reachable. So go to extrancotech.com. Over there, you can go to benefits and then go to downloadable VMs. Okay, so follow the instructions over there to download it. So at trancotech.com, go to benefits and go to downloadable VMs. And from there, you can download these virtual boxes, which we are going to use with the training. Okay. So you can download, the instructions are mentioned over there, step-by-step instructions. So we are going to use these training provided virtual boxes. So on these virtual boxes, we have database version as 19C. Okay. This is Oracle database and Oracle database version 19C. And the platform on these virtual boxes is Enterprise Linux 7. Okay. So we'll note that down. So these are the downloadable VMs. You can download the VMs, follow the instructions. Okay. So note down the source database site type, source database version, source platform, which is Enterprise Linux 7. And the target also GGate 2 is also same. So we have GGate 1 and GGate 2. Two virtual boxes are there. So if you see here, you will find. Okay. Now, so these virtual boxes have data. So this is GGate 2 and these two are pingable. And the database version on these is 19C Oracle database and the source platform is Enterprise Linux 7. Okay. New virtual boxes will be in place in some time, which have Enterprise Linux 8 as well. But those will come after some time. Okay, for 23, in fact, we need it. So those build is in progress. Okay, now once you have this, now remember one thing, each binary is different for different platforms and different versions. So first thing you have to keep in mind is you have to go through the certification matrix, and based on the certification matrix, you will have to download the binaries. Now, one question which is being asked is, Ashish, how do I know which version should I download? Should I download 21C? Should I download 19C? Should I download 23 AI? So I always say one thing, download the latest supported version. So if 23 AI is supported, download 23 AI. If 21C is supported, download 21C. If 19C is supported for your environment, download 19C GoldenGate. How do you know which one is supported? So to know that, you need to check the certification matrix. So this applies to any technology in this world, whether you are working with any technology, database, or informatic or any software. Guys, it is very important for us to be right first time, right? When we are working as a GoldenGate administrator. So it is very important for us to ensure that we are right first time. So you should check the certification metrics first of all and see whether the software you are downloading is supported or not for your environment. So what we'll do, we'll download the certification matrix. So to download the certification matrix, what you should do is download Oracle GoldenGate certification matrix. Or you can do download Fusion middleware certification matrix. Or you can just do Fusion middleware. GoldenGate is Fusion middleware product. So go to Fusion middleware certification matrix. Select first link, Oracle Fusion middleware supported database. Supported database support link. So this is the certification link for Oracle GoldenGate. Certification matrix is available on this link. Okay. So if you go here, you will find support, you will find certification metrics for 23i, 21C, 19C, 23C very data, 12C very data, 18C GoldenGate, 12.3, all these versions. So let us check 21C certification metrics. Okay. So is it downloaded? I didn't see. So go to 21C. Okay. So once it is downloaded, then double click on it and open it. So it will show you 20, it will open the GoldenGate 21C certification matrix. Now, remember one thing, binaries are different for each version and platform. So go to GoldenGate tab. Now here, So one thing which I told you was, after completion of today's session, you will be able to answer whether GoldenGate supports this database or this platform or not. So looking at certification metrics, you can see. So you can see that uh, what database GoldenGate supports. Okay. So if you if you do this, so these are the processor type it supports, what are the OS version it supports. So you'd see, do this Oracle GoldenGate for non-Oracle database. Just 1 minute, it shows you database type as well. This is the data. So see, it shows what databases it supports. So it supports you MySQL, PostgreSQL, MariaDB, this MySQL, Oracle, PostgreSQL Server, IBM DB2, Microsoft SQL Server, all these databases, Teradata it supports, 21C. So it doesn't mean that if your database or platform is not mentioned over here, GoldenGate doesn't support it. It means that 21C doesn't support it. Okay. So if 21C you are not able to find, check in 23i, check in 19C, check in 18C GoldenGate certification matrix. So check in different certification matrix, and you will be able to find what version, what platform your database is supported in. So in our case, our database is Oracle. So I'll select Oracle GoldenGate here. Okay. Then ours is Oracle. So I'll select Oracle database over here. Okay. So you will see these databases it supports. But now, and it also support 21C is also supported on Windows platform. You see, it says 21C is also supported on Windows. So ours is Linux. Okay. So you can select here what OS types are supported. So if you deselect all the filters, then it will show you what all platforms it supports. So it doesn't mean that if doesn't show Sun Solaris over here, it doesn't mean that GoldenGate doesn't support Sun Solaris. It only means that 21C doesn't support. It may be 19C or any other version supports. Okay. So now we'll select our platform, like ours is Oracle Linux Enterprise RHEL 7. So GoldenGate supports 21C, supports RHEL 7. Okay. And it supports for Oracle database, and it supports these databases, Oracle databases 11.2.04, 12.1.02, 19C and 21C. So we have Oracle database 19C, and our OS version is RHEL 8 and RHEL 7, and database type is Oracle database. So, oh, I think you can find the list of databases using this product family. Okay, let me remove all the filters first. Okay, go to product family. Oh, here it shows what all databases it supports. If you go to product family, so it supports these databases. And same way, if you go to like what platforms it supports these platforms. So if Sun Solaris is not listed, go to 19C binaries and see whether it is supported or not. Okay. Now, once it is done, once you have identified that 21C is supported, go ahead and download 21C binary. So now we'll go here. So here you'll find different binaries for different platforms. So GoldenGate binaries are different for each platform and each database type. So this is the binary for 21.3 Oracle, and this is classic. This is microservices binary. Same way, this is binary for Oracle on Linux. This is the binary for DB2 on I on Linux. This is binary for DB2 LUW on Linux. Same way, if you go below, you will find MySQL compatible database on Linux. This is binary for that. This is binary for Postgres on Linux. So we'll download the binary for this GoldenGate 21.3 for Oracle on Linux. Review it, download it. Okay. Once you click on that, it will take you to the next page. Sign in with the credentials and download will happen. So you will provide your credentials. Okay, once you do that, download will happen. Once download is done, you can transfer it to your server. So with these virtual boxes, the software is already present. If you see, I'll show it to you. So with these virtual boxes, you will find the softwares are already kept for your practice. So if you go to window, so the softwares are kept under /home/Oracle/softwares in these virtual boxes. Here you will find virtual boxes for practice for the softwares are available for Classic 21C, Microservices 21C, Classic 19C also there, Veridata 12.2 and 12.2.1.2 is also there. So in both the machines, GGate 1 and GGate 2, go to /home/Oracle/softwares, you will find the binaries. So once the download is completed, you can transfer. So for the if you're using training provided VMs, the binaries are already present over here. Okay. Now once this is done, so the next topic which I want to discuss, which I believe we don't have much time right now, which I would we will discuss next is like what are the requirements of for Oracle GoldenGate to set up Oracle GoldenGate. So prior to installing Oracle GoldenGate, you have to keep your server ready, right? You have to keep your environment ready, right? So, what are the requirements? So, see, when we work on client side, when we work as a GoldenGate architect, we are recommended to provide starting from beginning. If the new GoldenGate setup is done, you have to provide hardware requirement, software requirement, how much space you need, everything is required to be provided. So on what basis you do calculation, space calculation, what RAM is required, everything you are required to provide, right? So that we'll discuss in the next session. So what are the hardware and software requirements related to Oracle GoldenGate? We'll be discussing that in the next session as well. So, guys, the next session we'll be doing next week, same timing. Okay. So, the next session will be, let me show you what we are going to discuss in the next session. So, the next session will be conducted same time next week. Okay. And the timing will remain same. The timing will be 7:30 to 10:30 a.m. 7 a.m. to 7:30 to let me open. Okay. Okay. So the timing for the next session will remain same and it will be the next session will be on Saturday, 1st of March. So this is a weekend batch and sessions are conducted every Saturday. So 1st of March next session is and the next session will be 7:30 to 10:30 a.m. Eastern time, 6:30 to 9 a.m. Central time, and 4:30 to 7 a.m. Pacific time. And th- I generally try to finish it on time, guys. So don't worry. Today's session, because it was first session and there was a lot of things which I wanted to discuss. So that's why it got 10 minutes extra. So as per Indian time, it will be same time, 6 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Indian time. Now, guys, for the people who live in India, Asia, or UK, after first three sessions for them. So this doesn't apply to US students, but for those who are affected by the daylight saving. So uh post daylight saving after 9th of March. So first three sessions for you guys time will remain same. After from basically 15th of March, the session timing will be 1 hour before. Basically for Indian students, it will be 5 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. from 15th of March. But I'll confirm that to you again from 15th of March until first three sessions. You don't have to worry. It's the same timing, 6 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. The session will be conducted from. Okay, so next session is same timing, and in the next session we'll discuss about installation requirement first of all. So we'll discuss about installation requirements of Golden Gate. Then we'll discuss about installation of Oracle GoldenGate. Then we'll discuss regarding options to install Oracle GoldenGate, and we'll also mention about what is GoldenGate Hub. We'll discuss about prerequisites to set up Oracle GoldenGate, and then we'll also discuss about what is supplemental logging and what are different types of supplemental logging. And link to join, so guys, today's session was link was provided prior to the session. From next session, it will be available to the training enrolled students, and the link will be directly available over the app. And the next session is from next session is next Saturday. So for the enrolled students, you can always find these recordings available over the app. This recording will be available over the app, and maybe first session may be available on my YouTube channel as well. And all the questions, guys, this is interactive session. So because it was introduction, I asked you to type in the chat window, but it is interactive session. So going forward, we'll all have the interactive sessions. And any question you have, I'll answer right now as well after this. Means so so if I have to quickly uh, recap what we discussed in today's session is, so in today's session we discussed about introduction to Oracle GoldenGate. So in 2009, Oracle acquired GoldenGate. Okay, there are two types of architectures: classic architecture and microservices architecture. So classic architecture is there since beginning, and microservices architecture was launched in 2017. Then there is one more product in GoldenGate family which is called as Veridata. Now we discuss about why GoldenGate, what are the technical and financial reasons we discuss, like it replicates the data in near real time. Now there are two types of extract process: classic extract process and integrated extract process as well. Okay. So there are two types of extract process. Classic extract is there since beginning, and integrated extract is the latest type of extract process. I should not say latest. It is now quite old now, right? And then there are different types of replicats which are non-integrated or classic, integrated replicat, coordinated replicat, or parallel replicat. We discuss about Oracle GoldenGate architecture, how data flow happens in GoldenGate. So all process in GoldenGate are independent of each other. However, they depend on each other for reading the data. Okay. Now, database training, VMs have 12 database and 19 binaries, and the softwares are present under /home /Oracle /software. So before you proceed with download and installation, always check the certification matrix before you can install. Hardware requirements we'll discuss later. So for today's session, the task is to set up the lab. So what are the steps you need to do? Set up the lab prior to the next session. And anytime, guys, if you have any question, you have for the once you enroll for the training, you are part of the WhatsApp group. Okay. And post your questions in the WhatsApp group. You can directly uh, reach out to me over my WhatsApp anytime for any question you have. So my WhatsApp is available at +1 416 871 5708. Okay. Email me at ashishagarwalag@gmail.com. And the recording of this session will be available on the app. Okay. So over the app, the session will be available. So this is how this app looks like. I'll give you the overview of the app as well. So the app is like this. Go to Learnomate. Okay. Once you go through it, once you go to the, so you can access it via app or over the laptop as well. So once you are approved for the course, so once you request for the course, once you are enrolled, you get the class ID and everything. And once your details are verified, you get approved within 24 hours. Once you are approved, you get this kind of link. So you will be able to see my view because I am instructor and you are student. So your view may be a bit different, but this is how view looks like. You will be able to see all the courses which are added, and each course has a different course ID. So once you are able to do this, then you click on classic. Once you click on classic, go to content section. Here you will find all the folders. You will find previous session recordings as well. Say for example, you want to complete the course quickly, so you can find previous session recordings as well. You will find course related activity guides over here. The today's folder, so a new folder you will find over here as Feb 2025 weekend recording folder you will find. And under there you will find the sessions like day 1, day 2, day 3. All the sessions will be uploaded. Along with that, you will also find the notes, like uh, whatever notes I have to put, like if you have to put lab certificate or recap, whatever we do, we provide over there as well. Okay, so you can find all the things
Excuse me, please. I have a
over
question.
here. And the link for the downloadable VMs, you can go to, I'll post the link for the downloadable VMs. You can find it on my website as well. So if you go to this, uh, where is the chat? Okay, chat is here. So I'll post the downloadable VM link here as well. So you can find here as well. Otherwise, you will find the link over the different, like the document and everything on the app itself. Okay, so I'll take the questions now. Anyone has any question, you can ask by unmuting yourself. You first raise your hand so that I can unmute yourself one by one. So yeah, Arthur, you have a question you can ask.
Yeah, so sorry, I joined the session late. I didn't know about this class. When you say Oracle Golden Gate, is it like something totally different from us who are learning maybe let's say Oracle, or is it something that necessarily we need to know also to be like good Oracle DBAs? That's my first question.
Oracle Golden Gate is a replication product. Because you joined late, I gave the good introduction to it. So this recording, what I'll do, I'll also upload on my YouTube channel as well. You can find
Mm-hmm.
it on YouTube. But just to give you a brief overview, Golden Gate is a replication tool which replicates the data from source to target. It has various features like data filtration, transformation, business intelligence, and different things as well. But the primary motive of Golden Gate is to perform data filtration and data replication.
So it's simply like a small part of Oracle, like just for the
It's an Oracle
replication side.
product, but it's a different product. The usage of Golden Gate is different, right?
Mm-hmm. So what is your recommendation for us who are learning Oracle? Do you recommend us to, is it like most companies, let's say for us in the US here, most companies, do they like work with Golden Gate or you can easily get a job even without knowing it?
So the thing is, in current market, if you are aware, Golden Gate is one of the most sought after technology, hot technology. So if
Oh.
you are, see, there are two things. If you are only looking for a job, first of all, to shortlist your resume, you need something extra, right? Another thing is, if you're looking for better pay, then see, if you add new, not only Golden Gate, okay, if I have to answer it as a whole, adding new technologies and different technologies will definitely help you, right? If you add Golden Gate to your resume, it is one of the best thing, one of the best technology to add. If you add Informatica, it is very good technology to add. If you add ODI, so adding new technology, see, with current scenario, with database scenarios going on, there are a lot of
Mhm.
databases administrators available. And with this cloud, I'll tell you one thing. In 2020, when cloud was launched, I used to receive almost 500 messages, including email, WhatsApp, LinkedIn. People used to ask me, like, what is the future of Oracle? So I always say one thing: the job is in danger for only 20%, last 20% people who are not contributing anything new. If you can regularly upgrade yourself, don't worry about that. So if you are only as a work as a Oracle database administrator, first thing is you can consider yourself stagnated. Second thing is, pay wise as well, you will earn less what people with other technologies can learn. So if you have something extra like Golden Gate, as I mentioned, average salary of Golden Gate administrator in US is 1.5 to 1.8 times extra than Oracle database administrator.
Oh, okay, no, it makes sense. And by learning this one, is it not gonna like confuse us who are still like on the basics of Oracle? Like we are for us who
No,
are
no,
still fresh at Oracle?
it's completely different. It's completely different.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. Thank you. And what is the cost of the training, please? My last question.
You can ping on the WhatsApp number which is provided. Let us do this
Okay,
as a technical session.
okay. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, Krishna, you have a question?
Yes, sir. I do have a question regarding this auto CDR, conflict detection and resolution part. You did mention, maybe I missed that part. From which version it is automated completely, and are we going to check whether it is going to? I mean, how it can be done? If at all, if a application comes back stating that the CDR should be placed in our golden gate replication, and especially it's a multi-mastering topology.
So this auto CDR was introduced in Golden Gate version 12.3. So from 12.3 to 19C, they did some upgrade. Now from 19C to 21C, they have done some upgrade. So automatic conflict detection and resolution has been introduced in Golden Gate version 12.3 onwards.
Oh, so there is no more tagging concept. No need to have the
No, no,
DB options of
that is
tagging.
also required. That is also required. You need to use exclude tag. That is also required.
But you mentioned it's a CDR is completely automated. I'm not getting that point here.
So CDR is
So,
for conflict, tagging is for loop detection. So there are two different things in bidirectional, looping
okay.
and tag, looping and conflicts. So CDR is used for conflict detection and resolution, and tag is used for CDR is used for
Suppose
conflict detection and resolution, and tag is used for loop detection.
understood. Sir, one more point. See, while discussing about the log miner and LCR, what if the extracts or the Golden Gate said there was some maintenance activities going on at the time? May not be the Golden Gate extract, may not be receiving the data from the log miner. So, what happens at the time?
So in Golden Gate, you have got a checkpoint feature. Okay. You have got the checkpoint feature, and that checkpoint ensures that there is zero data loss in Golden Gate environment. Okay. So we'll be discussing that in the training as well. But if you are interested, there is a blog available on my website as well as on my LinkedIn as well. So I don't want to discuss it right now because this is introduction. I could make you understand, but it will be like people will get confused. So
No
this
problem,
point
sir.
I discuss in detail during the probably it will come in the third session. So there is one blog available, you should go through this.
Okay, sir, fine.
Difference
When you say
between,
we are going to discuss, that's more than enough for me. I'm just thinking whether it would be discussed or not. Okay, if it is
yeah,
there,
yeah. So
yeah.
Golden Gate ensures zero data loss in our environment. Okay. So if you are interested to learn it right away, go through this blog. Difference between time since checkpoint and lag at checkpoint. Okay.
Sure, sir. Thank you. Yeah.
So I'm pinging this link. I will be uploading a lot more blogs on my website. There are a lot more blogs coming. So guys, continue to visit this website. And if you have any question, anything, you can reach out to me anytime. Yeah, Chintan, you have any question you can ask.
Yeah, yeah, Ashish. So in one of the slide, Ashish, you mentioned that the extract process and the local trail file and transfer over network to remote. Like, is that there are different architecture in that as well? I know you mentioned something, but I couldn't you know wondering like if you can elaborate on that. That is it possible that like instead of remote and like moving the trail files, I can move the archive redos and run the extract and replicate on the target.
So the thing is, no, with this integrated extract, no, this is not very much possible. Prior to classic extract, yes, that was. But what would you achieve by doing this? That's the main question I want to
Yeah,
ask you.
that's what, like, I wanted to see if there is any performance implication, like, moving the archive redo log files versus, like, moving the trail files. So, I mean, I'm sure, like, might not be much difference, but like, is there any consideration, or is there even a factor
So
from
there,
performance point?
moving the archive logs to the different server is not an option. It was available in classic extract. There is a concept of mining database, which is not exactly similar what you want, but you can run your extract process from the mining database. So what happens in that scenario is like you are allowed to run Golden Gate from your mining database, your Golden Gate processes. And what happens in that scenario is like your extract process doesn't connect to the primary database, ensuring that there is no load on the primary database.
Got it. Got it. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Guys, one thing is Golden Gate 23 AI is also out now. And if you haven't attended my webinar last Sunday, which I did, you should definitely watch it. 23 AI. AI is the future, guys. We all have to accept it. AI is the future, and we all have to embrace AI. Okay. So watch this webinar on Golden Gate 23 AI. It is Golden Gate 23 AI is the future, definitely. So go through this. It will give you a fair idea when you get time. Okay. This Golden Gate, Oracle Golden Gate 23 AI online webinar where artificial intelligence meets replication. Okay. I see. Arthur, do you still have question?
Yeah.
Anyone else has
So,
any question apart from
yeah,
Arthur?
just one question, please.
You can raise your hand. Yeah, Arthur, tell me.
So, you said that the training is 20 to 24 hours. So you mean that like in 24 hours we're gonna like be ready, like know everything about the Golden Gate?
Yes, so this training is real-time training and it covers all the topics from basic to advanced level. Yes. So
So
it
24
will,
hours.
yes, correct, correct, correct. So this is classic architecture, then very data is different. So we'll be discussing, guys. If you have any technical questions, you can ask. If
Yes,
you have
sir.
any other questions, we can
Ashish,
discuss
sir.
separately. Yes,
Ashish,
Shiva.
sir, one quick question. As in the first session, like we are seeing like this Golden Gate, we are installing physically, right? Do we have the option also to do in the cloud? Is it supporting the OCI or it is supporting the AWS as well, sir?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So Golden Gate, the best part is Golden Gate is supported in OCI. It's supported in any cloud, AWS, Google Cloud, or Azure. Golden Gate is supported in on-prem. And the best part is the way Golden Gate works in on-prem, in the same way it works on Oracle. Only difference between OCI and on-prem is in OCI, you just have to procure Golden Gate, so automatically the installation is there. Okay. Apart
Okay,
from that,
okay.
rest all remains same. This is the best part. See, in one thing I always say, irrespective you're working on cloud or you're working on-prem, we have to understand the difference between the two. Means what is the difference between cloud and on-prem? So when we are working on on-prem, being a DBA doesn't make much difference to us. Being a system administrator, yes, it makes a lot of difference to them. So when you are working on-prem, your servers are resided on-premise, right? There is a data center on this earth where your data center resides, right? So basically, on-prem, it will have platform like Linux, Sun Solaris, Windows, any platform. In the same way, now the only thing which is different for you is now the servers which were hosted in cloud, they are now hosted in The servers which were on-prem, now they are hosted in cloud. However, and those cloud vendors are limited. Like Amazon is one of the vendor, Azure is one of the vendor, Oracle is one of the vendor, Google is one of the vendor, Alibaba is one of the vendors. So all these are vendors which owns cloud area. So for you, servers instead of on-prem, they have moved to cloud, and it has same thing like Linux, Sun Solaris, different platforms, Azure. So for you, there is not much difference. For system administrators, yes, there has been a lot of automation which has happened, but for you, not much differences are there. Okay. So the way Golden Gate works on-prem, in the same way it works for on cloud. No difference with that. Is that clear, Shiva?
Yes, sir. Got it. Thank you.
Okay. Akim, you have a question?
Yes. So you just made mention of something now that Golden Gate in cloud, the installation is already there. Is that what you said?
In
I mean, I just
OCI,
want to
it's
come.
already there. In OCI, it's already there.
Okay, so you don't have to, I mean, you don't have to go over installing it. I mean, you just, I mean, like, I mean, out of the
If
box is already installed.
if you are using OCI, Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, you just have to procure it, click on OCI portal, and then you can basically just procure it and automatically it gets installed. However, apart from OCI, if you are using any other cloud, then you have to do the installation separately.
Okay. So I mean, I have one more question. I know you talked about other competitors of Oracle Golden Gate. And I know, I mean, I've told you I use Stream. I mean, in my organization, we use Stream. Uh, so, I mean, my question is this: for Oracle Golden Gate, it's just solely for databases, right? I mean, is that correct? Can you use Oracle Golden Gate to replicate uh, messages from Kafka to maybe Kinesis?
Oracle GoldenGate supports database as a source. However, target can be big data like Kafka or any other big data. But from source, no. Source it cannot be.
Okay. Okay,
The
because
source
I'm
has
in
to be
Stream.
Oracle.
Okay, because Stream can do both. So even though yes, I mean performance wise, maybe Oracle Golden Gate can be more beneficiary than Stream, but I think in terms of other technologies, I think Stream can do either both.
Right, correct.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Cheers.
Any other question from anyone? Yeah, Chintan.
Ashish, like I know it might be too early, but just wanted to know, are we going to cover any big data adapter? I mean, Kafka or anything like that, or HDFS, uh,
See,
like big data
in that
adapters. Like, are we going to cover at all?
in the training, we'll be covering database to database.
We'll be covering. Okay. Okay, great. Thank you.
So this will be covering database to database replication. Any other question from anyone, guys? So I hope this session was informative and useful, guys. I hope you were able to follow this session. So we'll be continuing next week, same timing. And as I mentioned, 6 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Indian time, 7:30 to 10 Eastern time. And then please convert accordingly. Like I think Uruguay, there were guys joining from Uruguay, Poland, UK. So please convert accordingly from your time. Oh, I have Dubai student as well, so from Dubai as well. Yeah. Please type in the chat window from which locations you are joining. So Stuttgart is wow, Germany. Good. India, yeah. I see a lot of people from India. Goa. Wow. People die to go to Goa, right? And you're living in Goa. Wow, that's good. How
Please,
many
can you take the
Canadians?
time for us in the US here? Sometimes it's too confusing, this time difference.
So I see guys joining from Kashmir as well. Nice. Thank you. Okay. Chennai. Yeah. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining. Oh, we have a student from Zurich as well. Wow. I didn't know. I think I had couple of students from Zurich so far in my career. I think around 2 years back, I had two students from Zurich. So, okay, guys. I hope this was useful and you guys were able to follow the session. So, guys, this training will be covering whatever is required for Golden Gate. Okay. And anything, any question if you have, you can discuss with me separately, email me, call me, WhatsApp me, and that's it. Thank you very much and happy weekend to everyone of you.